My wife is a beautiful CEO. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1. Are you my wife? Zhou Chen, sister-in-law is scared. A soft and worried voice sounded in the country courtyard. Sister-in-law, don't be afraid. Believe me. Su Chen comforted Liu Mian. Then, he quickly inserted several silver needles in his hand into Liu Mian's back. The next moment, oh, so comfortable. Zhou Chen, it's amazing. Your acupuncture technique is so comfortable. Liu Mian lay on her stomach and couldn't help but hum out. The pleasant moaning sound in the white and plump naked back made Su Chen feel a little dry in the mouth. Zhou Chen, I heard that you are going to Bincheng to treat people and marry a rich woman, right? Liu Mian suddenly asked resentfully. If you leave, who will give acupuncture and massage to my sister-in-law when she falls and twists her body while working? Su Chen said bitterly. Sister-in-law, I don't want to leave either. Who knows if that rich woman is an old woman in her 40s or 50s. But this is a task my grandfather gave me. He told me to treat the rich woman's father and then marry her. Grandpa also ordered me to stay with the rich woman for at least a year. He said that after a year, it will be a great benefit to me. Hearing that it was arranged by Su Chen's grandfather, Liu Mian had nothing to say. Because that old man is too powerful. The next day, Bincheng, in front of the Zhou family villa. What? You are my wife? Su Chen looked shocked, looking at Zhou Wanqiu, who had a graceful figure and a beautiful face. She was wearing a white short shirt on her upper body, which wrapped up the surging waves that were about to burst out. A black tight hip skirt and two straight long legs in flesh-colored stockings were full of temptation. This woman is 10 times more beautiful than the widow sister-in-law in the village. This is actually his future wife. Su Chen suddenly wanted to cry. Grandpa, this old bastard, has been cheating his grandson all his life, and finally he has done something human. Hello, I'm Su Chen. My grandfather gave it to your father. Su Chen was about to introduce himself, but was interrupted by Zhou Wanqiu coldly. Shut up. Zhou Wanqiu glanced at Su Chen, who was wearing tattered cloth shoes and carrying a snackerskin bag, and his eyes showed a trace of contempt. I'm not interested in what you are talking about. My dad has a miracle doctor treating him. You can go back. Su Chen was stunned. What the hell? He was rejected before he got married. At this time, suddenly, there was a panic scream in the villa. Zhou Wanqiu's face changed, and he quickly turned around and ran into the villa. Su Chen thought about it and followed him. Grandpa asked him to cure the rich woman's father, and he had to make sure that the task was completed before leaving. Su Chen walked into the villa. In the middle of the hall, there was a middle-aged man lying. His face was as hen, and his breath was faint. Beside him, there were 2 anxious women. One was the young and beautiful Zhou Wanqiu. Another one was a crying middle-aged beautiful woman. An old man who looked like a doctor was constantly checking and rescuing. On the other side, there was an old man in tank suit, with a nervous face. Several people were attracted by the middle-aged man, and they didn't even notice Su Chen coming in. Drive son, you are the most powerful doctor in Bincheng. Please save my father. Zhou Wanqiu said with red eyes. Sun Zongjing hurriedly said, Miss Zhou, don't worry. With me here, your father will be fine. As he spoke, Sun Zongjing directly picked up the silver needle and inserted it into the Shenfeng acupoint on the middle-aged man's chest. It was accurate and steady. Su Chen also nodded. This Dr. Sun seemed to have something. The second needle was not bad. The third needle. Su Chen frowned slightly. This needle didn't seem to be the best choice, and the depth and angle were not enough. At this time, Sun Zongjing picked up 2 silver needles again, aimed at the acupoints, and was about to insert the needle. Wait a minute. Su Chen suddenly spoke. This patient was a task given to him by his grandfather, so he naturally had to take responsibility. The third shot is wrong. If we give these 2 shots, the patient may convulse, or even go into shock. Su Chen continued. Everyone turned around and was stunned. They only then noticed that there was another person in the villa. Didn't I tell you to leave? Why did you come in? Zhou Wanqiu stood up with an ugly face. The old man in tang suit frowned slightly. Wanqiu, what's going on? Zhou Wanqiu suppressed his anger and introduced Su Chen. The old man in tang suit was delighted. Are you Su Chen? I'm your grandfather's good friend, Zhou Wanqiu. Thank God, you arrived in time. Now, my son Bincheng can be saved. Zhou Wanqiu's face was full of surprise. However, as soon as the voice fell, humph, a cold snort came. Dr. Sun looked ugly and said angrily, since Mr. Zhou has found a miracle doctor, I will take my leave. As he spoke, Sun Zhangjing was about to leave. Zhou Wanqiu's face froze, knowing that he had spoken out of turn. He quickly apologized. Please forgive me, Dr. Sun, I was rude. Zhou Wanqiu said anxiously. Yes. Dr. Sun, don't be angry. This guy is just a country bumpkin. He doesn't know any medical skills. He just wants to show off. As he spoke, Zhou Wanqiu glared at Su Chen. Dr. Sun is treating my dad. You shut up. Sun Zhangjing's face looked better. He sneered at Su Chen and was about to continue acupuncture Zhou Bincheng. However, Su Chen spoke again. If you continue to give the needle, the patient will really be killed by you. Sun Zhangjing's face was gloomy. The movement of his hands also stopped. Zhou Wanqiu was furious, staring at Su Chen and angrily said, I told you to shut up, didn't you hear it? If you affect Dr. Sun to save my dad again, get out. At this time, Zhou Wanqiu frowned slightly. Dr. Sun, how about we listen to what Su Chen said? Sun Zhangjing was stunned. He didn't expect that Zhou Wanqiu seemed to trust the country bumpkin in front of him. Grandpa, Zhou Wanqiu asked in confusion. How can you not believe in Dr. Sun, but believe in this bumpkin? Zhou Wanqiu's face darkened and he said, Wanqiu, don't say that to Su Chen. Zhou Wanqiu was stunned. She couldn't understand why her grandfather was so good to this bumpkin. Su Chen was also puzzled. On the side, Sun Zhangjing looked grim. Grandpa Zhou, don't you believe my judgment? Zhou Wanqiu hesitated and said, Drive son, I'm sorry. This is related to my son Bincheng's life. I must be cautious. Huh. Sun Zhangjing was furious and snorted coldly. Well, if Zhou Bincheng dies because of me, I will compensate you with your life. As he spoke, Sun Zhangjing looked at Su Chen. Boy, watch out. You are still a child. Don't rush to show off in the future. Puff, puff. 2 silver needles were inserted into Zhou Bincheng's body again. For a moment, everyone's eyes were focused on Zhou Bincheng. HMM. A light hum sounded. Zhou Bincheng slowly woke up. His complexion seemed to be much better. Zhou Wanqiu and his mother Zhao Giran were overjoyed. Sun Zhangjing looked pleased and looked at Zhou Wanqiu. Grandpa Zhou, are you satisfied with my medical skills? As he spoke, he glanced at Su Chen. Zhou Wanqiu looked embarrassed and didn't know what to say. Zhou Wanqiu said coldly, Grandpa, you are wrong, right? This country bumpkin is just a big talking liar. As he spoke, Zhou Wanqiu walked towards Su Chen. Now, you have nothing to say, right? Go back to your hometown. As soon as she finished speaking, Zhou Bincheng screamed. Then, his whole body convulsed. Chapter 2, A Fait Accompli. Dad, husband, Bincheng, Zhou Wanqiu, Zhao Giran and Zhou Wanqiu all changed their faces. Sun Zhangjing was also panicked. The scene in front of him was beyond his expectation. At this time, Zhou Bincheng was twitching all over and foaming at the mouth. He was about to die. Sun Divine Doctor, please save my dad. Zhou Wanqiu begged. Sun Zhangjing was also confused for a while. Various methods were used. As a result, not only did it not alleviate the condition, but it made Zhou Bincheng's condition worse. It's over. His life of wisdom is going to end. Sun Zhangjing was anxious. On the side, Zhou Wanqiu was even more angry and roared. Sun Divine Doctor, didn't you say you would guarantee it with your life? Su Chen just reminded you. Why didn't you listen? Sun Zhangjing was embarrassed. Suddenly, his eyes lit up, and he looked at Su Chen quickly. Now Zhou Bincheng's reaction seemed to be exactly the same as what Su Chen said before. Could it be that Su Chen's medical skills are really better than his own? Gritting his teeth. Mr. Su, I really have no other way, please, help me. Sun Zhangjing lowered his head, his face burning. He really had no other choice. Su Chen looked at Sun Zongjing. This divine Dr. Sun was a decent person. At least, he was not the kind of immoral person who cared about the life and death of his patients for the sake of his own face. Zhou Wanqiu also reacted and said quickly, Su Chen, Grandpa Zhou begs you to save Bincheng. As he spoke, Zhou Wanqiu scolded Zhou Wanqiu. Wanqiu, apologize to Su Chen. Zhou Wanqiu struggled, but still lowered his head and said, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that to you just now. Please save my dad. Zhao Girang also looked at Su Chen expectantly. Su Chen didn't waste any words and stepped forward. Puff, puff, puff. Pull out the last 3 silver needles of Sun Zongjing directly. You made the wrong choice for these 3 needles. It should be Tanzhang, Zongting, and Zigan. Then, we should also add Cheyenne too, Huage, Kahu, and Cheyenne Chi. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. As Su Chen spoke, the silver needle in his hand did not stop, and fell accurately on the acupuncture points he mentioned. The next moment, he gathered his true energy with his fingers, and swept through each silver needle in turn. In an instant, the tail of the silver needle trembled. Zhou Wanqiu and others did not understand it at all, but Sun Zongjing trembled all over. Could this be the Jiuji Zuanming needle in ancient medical skills? Or is it the trembling needle technique? Sun Zongjing is a doctor. At this moment, he finally understood the gap between himself and Su Chen. It's like heaven and earth. As the silver needle trembled, a ray of green light appeared at the eye of the needle. 18 hands of the ghost gate. Stop people in front of the king of hell. Su Chen formed a strange mark with his hands and smashed Zhao Pingjiang's chest. Ah. Everyone was shocked. Puff. Zhao Pingjiang spat out a mouthful of black blood. The 9 silver needles on his body also popped out instantly. And what flowed out was a light green liquid. What are you doing? Zhou Wanqiu pushed Su Chen violently. Su Chen had just consumed a lot of energy and was almost pushed by her without paying attention. Are you sick? Su Chen also had a temper. Zhou Wanqiu glared at him. Why did you hit my dad? Su Chen was speechless. I don't need the 18 hands of the ghost gate to knock on the door. Can the poison in your dad's body come out so easily? This woman really has big breasts and no brains. At this time, cough cough, a cough sounded. Everyone turned their heads to see that Zhao Pingjiang had woken up and even sat up. Dad, are you okay? Zhou Wanqiu was stunned. She understood that she had misunderstood Su Chen. Zhou Wanqiu turned to look at Su Chen, her face a little embarrassed. Zhou Wanqiu wanted to apologize, but looking at Su Chen's half smiley face, she couldn't say anything when the word came to her lips. What about me? Do you have a stuttering problem? Do you need me to treat you? Su Chen said unhappily. You are the stutterer. Your whole family stutters. The apology on Zhou Wanqiu's face suddenly turned into anger. She didn't know why, but she got angry when she saw Su Chen's face. Maybe, since she heard about her marriage, she has begun to dislike this Su Chen. Dad, are you feeling better? Zhou Wanqiu deliberately changed the subject under the pretext of caring about Zhao Pingjiang. Zhou Wanqiu walked to Su Chen with a smile, and his eyes were full of love when he looked at Su Chen. Good boy. This medical skill is indeed worthy of your grandfather's grandson. Su Chen smiled and said politely, Grandpa Zhao, you are too kind. The genius Dr. Sun Zongjing on the side was in turmoil. Praise? What a bullshit. 9 extremes life-changing needle. 18 ghost gates. These are all long-lost medical skills. Where did this Su Chen come from? At this moment, Zhao Pingjiang had been supported by Zhao Girang and Zhou Wanqiu and stood up. Thank you, Su Chen. Zhao Pingjiang knew the situation and stepped forward to thank him. Su Chen smiled and said, Uncle Zhao, you are too polite. For some reason, Su Chen felt that Zhao Pingjiang did not seem to be close to him. Wanqiu, give Su Chen 1 million as a consultation fee, Zhao Pingjiang said. Su Chen was shocked. 1 million? So generous? At this time, Zhou Wanqiu suddenly spoke. Why are you so polite? Su Chen will be Wanqiu's husband in the future. How can he accept consultation fees for treating his father-in-law? The scene suddenly became quiet. Su Chen looked at Zhou Wanqiu. Old man Zhao was really nice to him. Zhou Wanqiu's face changed drastically. Zhao Pingjiang frowned and said, Dad, Although Su Chen saved me, you don't have to marry Wanqiu to him. Can't we just give him enough money for the consultation? Zhou Wanqiu also said anxiously. Grandpa, maybe Su Chen just happened to know this folk remedy. We don't have any feelings for each other. How can we get married rashly like this? Zhou Wanqiu shook his head. Grandpa, Su Chen saved my life back then. This is our agreement. Do you want me to be a person who breaks my promise? Besides, it's okay if we don't have feelings. In the past, your grandma and I met for the first time in the wedding night, and it didn't affect our feelings. From tonight, you two will live together and cultivate your feelings. Su Chen was frightened by what Grandpa Zhao said. This old man is too quick. Zhao Pingjiang and Zhou Wanqiu were even more stunned. The father and daughter didn't expect that the old man would insist so much. Zhou Wanqiu was dissatisfied and wanted to say something, but was stopped by Zhao Pingjiang's eyes. In the Zhao family, the old man's words are law. Seeing the awkward atmosphere, Zhao Girang smiled and tried to smooth things over. I think Su Chen is pretty good. He comes from the countryside, is honest and knows medical skills. Su Chen smiled. Thank you, Aunt Zhao, you have a good eye. Zhou Wanqiu widened her eyes in anger, not knowing what to say. On the side, Sun Zongjing saw this scene and was envious. He looked at Zhou Wanqiu deeply. This old man has a really sharp eye. Just based on this medical skill of bringing people back to life, Su Chen's future achievements must be extraordinary. But now, he has been taken into the Zhao family by Zhou Wanqiu. It is estimated that at night, he will let Zhou Wanqiu make Su Chen a fait accompli. Sun Zongjing couldn't help but feel a little regretful. Alas, it's a pity that he doesn't have a beautiful granddaughter, otherwise he would have to snatch one. Chapter 3 I don't like men. Zhao Pingjiang recovered, and the family was relaxed. Grandpa Zhao pulled Su Chen to ask about his grandfather. Zhao Girang was busy in the kitchen with a smile on her face. Zhao Pingjiang and Zhou Wanqiu were talking in the study. At this time, they both looked serious. Dad, what should I do with that bumpkin? I get annoyed when I see him. Grandpa asked me to get married with him and get a marriage certificate, and also asked me to sleep in the same room with him. Zhou Wanqiu was very annoyed. Zhao Pingjiang said helplessly, that boy's grandfather saved your grandfather. Your grandfather is a man who values human feelings and credibility the most. I can't do anything about it, unless that boy gives up himself. Zhou Wanqiu's eyes lit up. Yes, I can think of a way to make that bumpkin give up on his own initiative, isn't it? Humph. He Junying has been pursuing me for so long, and I didn't agree. This Su Chen, he doesn't deserve it. Zhou Wanqiu's beautiful eyes were full of disdain. That's enough. Zhao Pingjiang waved his hand. At night, you should take care to protect yourself. Although this guy looks honest, you have to be on guard. If he dares to mess around, just call someone. Zhou Wanqiu listened carefully. Zhao Pingjiang continued. Let's put Su Chen aside for now. What we need to do next is to find out who in the company did the poisoning. In addition, you must also take precautions. Now is the critical moment for our Zhao family to win the bid of Cheyenne Heo group. We must be more careful. Zhou Wanqiu nodded. The two chatted for a while before walking out of the study. As soon as they came out, they heard the cheerful laughter of Mr. Zhao in the hall. Looking at Su Chen, who was talking happily with Zhou Wanqiu, Zhou Wanqiu curled his lips. Country bumpkin. Flatterer. Just flattering my grandfather. Zhou Wanqiu deliberately didn't restrain his voice. Su Chen, however, seemed not to hear it and still had a smile on his face. To be honest, the Zhao family gave him a pretty good feeling. Mr. Zhao was very concerned about him. Zhou Wanqiu's mother Zhao Girang was also very kind. This feeling of home made Su Chen feel particularly warm. As for Zhou Wanqiu's resentment, he could fully understand and accept it. Just pretend that he didn't see it. Zhou Wanqiu saw Su Chen's silly look and felt like he had punched cotton. It was very uncomfortable. Soon, Zhao Girang prepared the food and served it. The family finished the meal with laughter. Zhou Wanqiu was as delicious as a wax. Suddenly, Zhou Wanqiu's beautiful eyes lit up. She thought of a good idea to drive Su Chen away. After dinner, Zhou Wanqiu said directly, Wanqiu, you accompany Su Chen for a walk and exchange feelings. Su Chen glanced at Zhou Wanqiu. This old man is a little too powerful. However, according to Zhou Wanqiu's silly temper, she probably won't agree. However, okay. Zhou Wanqiu agreed very straightforwardly. Even Zhao Pingjiang on the side looked at Zhou Wanqiu with some confusion. Zhao Girang said with a smile, "Oh, how great. Young people can develop feelings if they talk more." Zhou Wanqiu smiled, but sneered in his heart. Haha. I will never develop feelings for this country bumpkin in my life. Su Chen was surprised by Zhou Wanqiu's attitude, but he didn't say anything. After dinner, Zhou Wanqiu led Su Chen around the villa. He seemed very enthusiastic. Then, he wanted to take Su Chen to walk outside the villa. However, just as they walked outside the villa, Zhou Wanqiu suddenly turned around and faced Su Chen. "Su Chen, we can't be together." Was the ulterior motive revealed? Su Chen raised his eyebrows. He said, "In fact, I didn't think that I had to be with you." Zhou Wanqiu's face was happy. Su Chen continued, "But, the task my grandfather gave me is to marry you and stay with you for a year. He said that after a year, there will be great benefits. My grandfather is usually very accurate in what he says. If he says there will be great benefits after a year, then there will definitely be." The smile on Zhou Wanqiu's face disappeared. What a bullshit benefit. Only a fool like you would believe it. A year later, a son was born. Is this the great benefit that your grandfather, the old rogue, said? Zhou Wanqiu was very upset, but he had to pretend to be sincere on his face. "Let me tell you the truth." Zhou Wanqiu deliberately showed a tangled look. "Actually, I don't like men. I like women." Su Chen was stunned. Then, he took 2 steps back. "What? You like women?" Su Chen felt a little bit upset. "How the hell is this? Grandpa asked me to marry this little rich woman, but she likes women. Do you really like women?" Su Chen scratched his head. Although his medical skills are very good, this problem cannot be solved by medical skills. Seeing Su Chen's expression, Zhou Wanqiu was secretly happy. Today, this moment is the most enjoyable. This trick of his knocked this bumpkin unconscious. Really? If you don't believe me, I'll prove it to you. As he spoke, Zhou Wanqiu took out his mobile phone and dialed a number. Turned on the speakerphone. After the call was connected, a soft and charming female voice came from the other end. "Dear husband, do you miss the baby?" "Yes, wife. I want a kiss," Zhou Wanqiu said with a pout. Su Chen was stunned. This is really true. He hasn't even gotten married yet, but his wife was stolen away by another woman. The 2 women were in love with each other over the phone in front of Su Chen. When they hung up the phone, Su Chen's face was as red as a bitter gourd. "This wave of blood loss. Do you want to try to change it?" Su Chen suggested. Zhou Wanqiu suppressed a smile and said, "This is engraved in the genes and cannot be changed. Besides, opposite sexes are for reproduction, and same sex is true love. Su Chen, I think you can try to change it. I have a bodyguard who is very good, and I think you two are very suitable." Su Chen, is this what it means, to be gay when a rotten person sees someone as gay? Forget it. I don't need it. Thank you. I'll go out for a walk. After saying that, Su Chen left directly. His mentality collapsed. Seeing Su Chen's fleeing figure, Zhou Wanqiu laughed out loud. She picked up her phone and dialed the number just now. "Haha. King, you are worthy of being my good girlfriend. You acted so well just now. That bumpkin must have believed it." His face turned green. "Fight with me? He is still a little young. I guess he will give up soon." On the other side, Su Chen walked on the road with a melancholy face. "How can I do this? Grandpa asked me to marry Zhou Wanqiu and stay together for at least 1 year. But she is a lesbian. How can I do it?" I said. "Why would Grandpa, who is cheating his grandson, give me such a good task? Now, I don't know where he has gone. I can't find anyone to consult." At this time, Su Chen's face changed and looked at the corner of the street. "Who is it? Get out. Mr. Su, it's me." In the corner, Sun Zongjing walked out awkwardly. Su Chen was a little surprised. After Zhao Pingjiang recovered, Sun Zongjing said goodbye and left. "Why is he here again now?" "Drive son, what do you mean by following me secretly? I blocked your path to wealth. Do you want to teach me a lesson?" Su Chen said calmly. He had heard his grandfather say this before. Blocking someone's path to wealth is like killing their parents. Could it be that he had offended Sun Zhongjing because he cured Zhaoping Jiang? Chapter 4 I want to be your master. Mr. Su, I dare not. Sun Zhongjing smiled bitterly. It's because I can't figure out what's wrong with my acupuncture method. I couldn't help it, so I came back to ask you. Su Chen was stunned. He didn't expect that this was the reason. I see. Su Chen nodded. In fact, your first 2 needles were right. But your 3rd needle, the choice of meridians, was wrong. Moreover, the poison in Mr. Zhao is mainly concentrated on the left side of the heart, so we have to go. Su Chen did not hide anything and explained it to Sun Zhongjing directly. Sun Zhongjing has good character and medical ethics and is a good doctor. Su Chen is also willing to help him. Sun Zhongjing's face was excited and his eyes became brighter and brighter. Thank you, Mr. Su. Sun Zhongjing bowed deeply to Su Chen. He was worried that Su Chen would ignore him before, but he didn't expect that Su Chen would not hide anything. May I ask, Mr. Su, when you treated Mr. Zhao, did you use the 9 extreme life-changing needle and the 18 hands of Ghost Gate? Sun Zhongjing asked. Su Chen nodded. This old man is quite knowledgeable. Sun Zhongjing was immediately excited when he saw Su Chen nod. These are the 2 lost ancient medical skills. I, Sun Zhongjing, can see them with my own eyes in my lifetime. I will die without regrets. Looking at the excited Sun Zhongjing, Su Chen felt a little amused. Although the 9 extreme life-changing needles and the 18 ghost gates were considered good medical skills, they were not that bad. He knew at least a dozen or 8 needle techniques of the same level. His grandfather also taught him a lot of even more advanced ones. But Zhaoping Jiang's condition was not that serious. Mr. Su, can I learn these 2 magical medical skills from you? I can worship you as my teacher. As he spoke, Sun Zhongjing was about to kneel down and kowtow. Absolutely not. Su Chen hurried forward to stop him. A trace of embarrassment flashed across Sun Zhongjing's face, and he said, I'm sorry, Mr. Su, I was reckless. How can such a magical medical skill be passed on so easily? Su Chen shook his head. It's not that I don't want to teach you, but these 2 medical skills require a foundation of practice. You are too old. It's too late. Whether it is the 9 extreme life-changing needle or the 18 hands of Ghost Gate, they all need the internal key to stimulate in order to achieve the best effect. And Sun Zhongjing is just an ordinary old man who knows medical skills, and he is completely unable to bring out the magic of this medical skill. Alas. Sun Zhongjing sighed, forced a smile and said, it doesn't matter, it's a great blessing to be able to see this magical medical skill with your own eyes. Su Chen smiled and said, you can't use those 2 medical skills. But after a while, I can sort out some medical skills that don't require true key and discuss them with you. As soon as the voice fell, the disappointment on Sun Zhongjing's face disappeared instantly, and his face was full of excitement. What? Mr. Su, are you serious? Thank you. Sun Zhongjing quickly bowed to Su Chen, performing the etiquette of a disciple. This time, Su Chen did not stop him. A teacher is one who imparts knowledge and resolves doubts. Although he said that he would discuss with Sun Zhongjing, in fact, he wanted to teach Sun Zhongjing some skills, so he could naturally accept his thanks. Sun Zhongjing was very excited. The Zhao family couldn't see it, but he knew that Su Chen's medical skills had definitely reached an earth-shattering level. As long as he could learn a little bit, it would be a great opportunity. Ding ling ling. Sun Zhongjing's cell phone suddenly rang. He apologized to Su Chen and answered the call. What? Suddenly, Sun Zhongjing cried out. Su Chen looked over and saw that Sun Zhongjing's face was gloomy. What's the matter? Su Chen asked. Mr. Su, my clinic has received a strange case and I have to rush back now. But I'm a little unsure. I don't know if you can come with me to take a look. Sun Zhongjing asked. Su Chen nodded. Soon, the 2 arrived at Sun Zhongjing's clinic. Rejuvenation Hall. As soon as the 2 stepped into the door, a middle-aged figure rushed over. Dr. Sun, where have you been? Why did you take so long to come back? If anything happens to my daughter, The middle-aged man's face was full of anxiety and anger. He was very impolite in his words. Sun Zhongjing's face sank. Mr. Qin, It's true that I'm a doctor, but I'm not your personal doctor. If Mr. Qin has any opinions about me, you can find another doctor. Unlike the respectful attitude in front of Su Chen, Sun Zongjing at this moment was confident and proud. As one of the top 3 miracle doctors in Bincheng, he has the qualifications. Qin Wentian knew that he had spoken out of turn and hurriedly said, "Dr. Sun, I'm sorry. My daughter Yao is critically ill and I spoke in a hurry. Please forgive me. Please save my daughter. I apologize." Sun Zongjing's face looked better. "Let's go see Miss Qin first." In the single room, a beautiful young woman with a hot body was lying on the hospital bed. The face of an angel and the figure of a devil were not worse than Zhou Wanqiu, and her figure seemed to be even better. Su Chen glanced at Qin Wentian. "I really didn't expect that this fat man could give birth to such a top-notch daughter." At this time, although Qin Yao fainted, she was sweating all over and trembling all over. An unhealthy red appeared on her white neck, spreading downwards and going straight to the peak. Sun Zongjing hurried forward to check. Then, he picked up the silver needle and started acupuncture treatment. Su Chen frowned slightly. Sun Zongjing's method only treats the symptoms, not the root cause. Moreover, it may also aggravate the disease. But Sun Zongjing didn't speak, and he couldn't interfere. Qin Yao's pretty face wrinkled slightly, and a look of pain appeared. Her body trembled more and more. "Dr. Sun, what's the situation with my daughter?" Qin Wentian asked hurriedly. Sun Zongjing's face looked grim, not knowing how to answer. Su Chen said, "Sun Divine Doctor, let me try." Sun Zongjing's eyes lit up, and he quickly stepped aside. Okay. Su Chen stepped forward, picked up the scissors, and was about to cut open the clothes on Qin Yao's chest. On the side, Qin Wentian suddenly became furious and pushed Su Chen away. "Asshole, what do you want to do? Sun Zongjing, are you using my daughter to practice with your apprentice?" Qin Wentian was furious. Sun Zongjing hurriedly explained, "Mr. Qin, Su Divine Doctor is not my apprentice. He is more skilled than me. I can't handle your daughter's condition, so I have to ask him to help." "Nonsense." Qin Wentian glared. "How can such a young boy understand medical skills? Didn't you see? He just wants to take advantage of my daughter." Su Chen said coldly, "If you want to treat her, treat her. If you don't want to treat her, get out." Sun Zongjing was stunned. Qin Wentian didn't react at all. As a person at the top of the pyramid in Bincheng, he hasn't been treated like this for a long time. Good. Not only are your medical skills poor, but you have a bad temper." Qin Wentian laughed in anger. "Wait until I cure my daughter's illness, and then come and ask for advice." As he spoke, Qin Wentian was about to take his daughter away. "Not good medical skills?" Su Chen sneered and said lightly, "Your daughter has been feeling unwell 10 days ago. At first, she felt chest tightness and fainted from time to time. 3 days ago, she fell into a deep sleep. In the hospital, it is estimated that nothing abnormal can be found, but she has cold sweats on her head, cold hands and feet, and convulsions from time to time. Today, it suddenly worsened." "Really?" Qin Wentian's face changed and he stopped. Chapter 5 Then I'll touch it back. Su Chen continued. "Your daughter can live for about 30 minutes. I hope you can find a miracle doctor in time to cure her. Otherwise, you can only wait until after her funeral before you come to trouble me again." Su Chen's voice fell. Qin Wentian's body trembled violently. All the symptoms Su Chen mentioned before were correct. Qin Wentian panicked. His daughter was the apple of his eye. The next moment, Qin Wentian's attitude changed drastically, and he turned to Su Chen and begged, "Mr. Su, I didn't recognize the great man. Please forgive me and help my daughter with treatment." But Su Chen's expression was cold, and he ignored Qin Wentian at all. Qin Wentian was anxious. "Mr. Su, I will pay a high medical fee. How much you want, I will give you. I'm not short of money." Su Chen looked indifferent. This Qin Wentian, relying on a little social status and a little money, was arrogant and rude, judging people by appearance. Su Chen wanted to tell him with practical actions, "Even if you are rich and powerful, I can control your life and death." Another painful groan came from his daughter Qin Yao's mouth. Qin Wentian's heart was broken. He gritted his teeth. Bang! Qin Wentian knelt directly on the ground. Please, Dr. Su, save my daughter's life. I, Qin Wentian and the Qin family, are at your disposal, and at your disposal. After saying that, he bowed his head deeply. Su Chen was a little surprised. He thought that people like Qin Wentian would be arrogant and never admit their mistakes. Unexpectedly, he would do this for his daughter. Sun Zongjing didn't want to make a big deal, so he persuaded, Mr. Su, Mr. Qin is also worried and confused. He has no intention of offending you. For the sake of a doctor's benevolence, please save Miss Qin. Qin Wentian, who was kneeling on the ground, looked at Sun Zongjing gratefully. Finally, Su Chen nodded. Okay, you go out. I will help Miss Qin with treatment. Seeing Su Chen agreed, Qin Wentian hurriedly thanked him and finally took Sun Zongjing out to wait. At this moment, he didn't care whether Su Chen took advantage of his daughter. Life is almost gone. Why should I care about these? Only Su Chen and Qin Yao were left in the room. Su Chen stepped forward and cut open the clothes on Qin Yao's chest. Suddenly, a large piece of Snow White was exposed. The lace-like small clothes barely covered a small part of it. This visual impact is more fierce than that of Liu Mian's sister-in-law in the village. Although Su Chen is a doctor, he is also a man with blood. Faced with such stimulation, he couldn't help but feel dry mouth. He held his breath and concentrated, and when he opened his eyes again, Su Chen's eyes were clear. 9 extremes life-changing needles. Su Chen waved his hand and raised it. 9 silver needles flew out at the same time. Almost at the same time, they landed accurately. In an instant, red blood, mixed with black, began to spread from Qin Yao's collarbone. Su Chen's left and right hands fell on Qin Yao. He began to help her move blood and remove toxins. As Su Chen's hand slid across Qin Yao's chest, the color of the 9 silver needles quickly changed from silver to red, and then to black. Finally, it flew away like a silver needle. Qin Yao's cold sweat and trembling stopped. Su Chen's eyes carefully checked. From the neck, to the collarbone, and then there was no abnormality. Okay, call it a day. Su Chen breathed a sigh of relief. At this moment, a soft and sticky voice sounded. How does it feel to touch? Pretty good. Su Chen answered casually. He raised his head suddenly and looked at Qin Yao. Sure enough, Qin Yao at this time was blinking a pair of big eyes, staring at him closely. There was no panic, no shouting, and even a hint of smile in her eyes. Su Chen was frightened by Qin Yao's look and hurriedly said, I'm treating you. I have no choice. And, your thing, I didn't cut it open. Don't feel guilty, little brother. I don't blame you. Qin Yao smiled. I'll go get you a coat. Su Chen left in a hurry. If Qin Yao yelled, Su Chen wouldn't think it was a big deal. But, she was so natural. This woman is a bit evil. Su Chen opened the door and came out. Qin Wentian, who was waiting anxiously, came to meet him. Before he could speak, Su Chen said, she's been rescued. Go prepare a coat for your daughter. Qin Wentian was overjoyed. He found a piece of clothing and rushed into the room. Su Chen wrote a prescription and handed it to Sun Zongjing, asking him to prepare medicine for Qin Yao. Finally, Su Chen couldn't help but asked, Sun Divine Doctor. Don't call me Divine Doctor, it's embarrassing for me. Sun Zongjing was quite embarrassed. Su Chen smiled and said, then according to age, I'll call you Old Sun, and you can call me Su Chen. Sun Zongjing didn't dare to agree, but thinking of Su Chen's medical skills, he smiled and agreed. This kind of address can bring him closer to Su Chen. Sun Divine Doctor, what's going on with Qin Yao inside? Su Chen couldn't help but asked. She is the only daughter of Qin Wentian, the president of Cheyenne Heo Group. Qin Wentian is also the president of Bincheng Chamber of Commerce. She can be said to be the princess of the entire Bincheng business community. Qin Wentian is a daughter slave and loves her the most. So, Qin Yao's character is more lawless. As he said that, Sun Zongjing looked at Su Chen with a smile. Did she play a joke on you? Su Chen hurriedly said, no. Sun Zongjing smiled and did not continue to ask. Soon, Qin Wentian and Qin Yao stepped out. The clothes on Qin Yao were not hers, but she still wore them in a different style. There was a kind of mixed temptation. The two walked in front of Su Chen. Qin Wentian bowed deeply to Su Chen first, Thank you, Master Su Chen ie, for saving my daughter. If you have any errands in the future, I, Qin Wentian, will never say no. As he spoke, Qin Wentian took out a bank card. There are 5 million here, which is my daughter's medical fee. Please accept it, Mr. Su. Qin Wentian handed it over respectfully. Su Chen was stunned. In this big city, you can make money quickly. In the village, it costs 5 or 10 yuan to treat a patient. Su Chen wanted to refuse, but Qin Wentian insisted again and again, so Su Chen had to accept it. On the side, Sun Zongjing also handed the selected medicinal materials to Qin Wentian. Dad, you get in the car first. I want to talk to my savior. Qin Yao suddenly said. Qin Wentian was stunned, and then seemed to realize something. He smiled and glanced at Su Chen, then turned and left. Mr. Qin, let me tell you about boiling medicine. Sun Zongjing found an excuse and ran away. Dap. Qin Yao twisted her waist and walked forward, standing close to Su Chen. The distance between the two was less than 20 centimeters. Su Chen felt a little unnatural, but he resisted, and did not retreat. The little brother's name is Su Chen, right? Thank you for saving me. Qin Yao's breath was as sweet as orchid. Su Chen could even feel the sweet scent she brought. At this moment, no matter how strong Su Chen's strength, how high his medical skills, or how magical his abilities were, it was useless. Su Chen's heart beat twice. You are too polite. Su Chen took a step back, but Qin Yao blinked her big watery eyes and followed. She approached Su Chen again and pouted, but, you touched me, how do you settle this account? Su Chen was stunned. Before Su Chen could react, Qin Yao's little hand passed across his chest. Then I'll touch you back. Qin Yao smiled and turned away. Su Chen, you are so cute. I will come to play with you again in the future. Leaving a word, Qin Yao left. Su Chen was a little confused, and then a bitter smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. This sister is really a weirdo. Chapter 6. Do you want another bowl of rice? Qin Yao and Qin Wentian left. Su Chen was still a little dazed. This sister's way was really beyond Su Chen's cognition. Su Chen, are you scared by Qin Yao? Ha ha ha. On the side, Sun Zongjing's disrespectful laughter came. Su Chen glared at the old man unhappily. Old son, has Qin Yao always behaved like this? Sun Zongjing smiled. Qin Wentian has a very high status in Bincheng, and Qin Yao is the apple of his eye, so she has always been more unscrupulous. The second generation of Bincheng are afraid of encountering her. They dare not beat her, and they can't afford to provoke her. It's a headache. So, in Bincheng, Qin Yao is called Qin Yaojing. Qin Yaojing? Su Chen laughed. This nickname is quite appropriate. What? Do you have feelings for Qin Yao? You can talk to Qin Wentian. I think he should be very happy. Sun Zongjing said. Su Chen shook his head. Forget it. Sun Zongjing said, don't misunderstand Qin Yao. Although her words and actions are a bit unscrupulous, she is also a clean person, and has never been involved in any scandals. Old son, I understand. Su Chen smiled, and I can see that she is still a virgin. Besides, you know, I have a wife now. Sun Zongjing slapped his head. Look at my brain. I almost forgot about the girl from the Zhou family. Yes, Zhou Qiuwen is also one of the 4 beauties in Bincheng. Zhou Chen, you are so lucky. Su Chen didn't respond, but he was complaining in his heart. What a lucky shit. What 4 beauties? I like women. Thinking of Zhou Wanqiu, Su Chen hurriedly checked the time. Old son, I have to go back. Sun Zongjing sent Su Chen back to Zhao's house. On the other side, in Qin Wentian's car. Dad, can I host the Qin family's business reception this time? Qin Yao asked. Qin Wentian was a little confused. In the past, when I asked you to host, didn't you find it troublesome? Qin Yao said. In the past, I was afraid of using my brain. My daughter just wanted to be a woman with big breasts and no brains. Qin Wentian was speechless, and didn't know what to say. However, he had long been accustomed to his daughter's style. What do you want to do? Qin Wentian asked. Qin Yao said coquettishly, I just want to introduce my savior to everyone. After all, he is the one who saved me. What if someone is blind and bullies him in the future? Wouldn't that be a slap in my face? Are you talking about Su Chen? Qin Wentian paused and smiled. Actually, I have the same idea. I heard from Sun Zongjing that Zhao Pingjiang of the Zhao family was poisoned, and he also took action to solve it. Such a medical master must maintain a good relationship at ordinary times, so that you can save a life at a critical moment. Qin Wentian said with a little feeling. Qin Yao was quite excited. Thank you, Dad. I'll pick him up then. Don't tease him. He's just a country boy who doesn't care about our family's power. If you provoke him, and he gets serious with you, you won't be able to cry. Qin Wentian reminded him seriously. Su Chen just refused to budge, forcing him to kneel down and beg. This incident left a deep impression on him. The Qin family, which Qin Yao relied on to scare other men in the past, may not work for Su Chen. Qin Yao smiled. What's the big deal? I'll repay you for saving my life with my body. I've touched his chest muscles. They're very exciting. Qin Wentian. He suddenly didn't want to pay attention to his daughter. On the other side, Su Chen returned to the Zhao family villa. Su Chen, you're back. Zhou Wanqiu forced a fake smile on her face and went to meet him. Her enthusiastic attitude surprised Zhou Wanqiu, who was sitting in the hall drinking tea. Zhou Wanqiu said to Zhao Giring, did you see that? I told you that feelings can be cultivated. You see, Wanqiu and Su Chen went out to chat, and they became very familiar with each other. After they came back, Zhao Giring smiled and nodded. That's right. Zhao Pingjiang, who was standing by, was a little puzzled. When he discussed with his daughter today, she was still extremely disgusted with this country boy. Why is she like this now? Zhou Wanqiu heard the conversation between her grandfather and her mother, and laughed in her heart. Will I have feelings for this bumpkin? It's impossible in this life. She just wanted to see if Su Chen would choose to give up on his own initiative. Seeing Zhou Wanqiu coming up, Su Chen nodded. Then, he walked up to Zhou Wanqiu and drank tea and chatted together. Zhou Wanqiu was a little confused. She thought that, when Su Chen came back this time, he should take the initiative to speak up and cancel the marriage with her. As a result, after waiting for a long time, Su Chen did not mention it. Maybe, this country boy wants to find a suitable time. Zhou Wanqiu thought. Evening. Dinner time. Zhou Wanqiu waited and waited, but Su Chen didn't mention going back to the countryside. She couldn't help but ask, Su Chen, do you have anything to say to Grandpa? Everyone was stunned and looked at Su Chen. Su Chen was also confused. What do I have to say to Grandpa? Zhou Wanqiu kept blinking at Su Chen and pouted at Zhou Wanqiu. Su Chen was stunned for a moment, looked at Zhou Wanqiu, and then suddenly realized. Zhou Wanqiu smiled. The next moment, Su Chen took away the pickles in front of Zhou Wanqiu. Grandpa, you are old. You can't eat too much pickles. It's easy to have high blood pressure. Zhou Wanqiu's smile froze. Zhou Wanqiu, pickles. Your uncle. Did I ask you to say pickles? Zhou Wanqiu said with a smile. Okay. Take it away. Take it away. Haha. It's good to have a miracle doctor at home. Your lifestyle will become healthy. Zhou Wanqiu bit her silver teeth and reminded vaguely, Su Chen, Shukin. Oh, it's Tongxinglian. Wanqiu, what are you mumbling about? Before Su Chen replied, Zhou Wanqiu noticed it. Zhou Wanqiu blushed and denied it flatly. No, I mean, I want to get a bowl of rice. If you want to eat one more bowl, just go and get it. What's there to be embarrassed about? I've always felt that you shouldn't lose weight. You eat so little every day. Zhou Wanqiu said. Su Chen picked up Zhou Wanqiu's rice bowl. I'll go get it for you. After that, he went to get Zhou Wanqiu a full bowl, with the tip sticking out. Look, Zhou Chen takes care of you so much, that he even gets you rice. Zhou Wanqiu said with a smile. This is Zhou Chen's gift. Since it's served, you have to finish it. Okay, Grandpa. Zhou Wanqiu looked at the rice in front of her that could be divided into 2 bowls, and she wanted to cry, but had no tears. She glared at Su Chen, and then shoveled the rice into her mouth fiercely. It seemed that she was not eating the rice, but Su Chen. After a difficult meal, Zhou Wanqiu felt that her stomach was about to explode. By the way, Wanqiu, take Zhou Chen to the company tomorrow and assign him a job. The salary doesn't matter, the key is to be closer to you, so that it is convenient for you to cultivate feelings. Zhou Wanqiu ordered. Zhou Wanqiu's mouth twitched, but she still nodded. Okay, when we get to the company, I have plenty of ways to deal with you, a country bumpkin. Zhou Wanqiu glanced at Su Chen, supported her waist, and went to the bedroom on the second floor. She ate too much. Su Chen and the old man had tea in the lobby on the first floor again. Time passed. Zhou Wanqiu felt a little sleepy and said, I'm old and can't stay up late. I'm going to sleep. I have asked Wanqiu to make the bed. Come on, try to give me a big fat great-grandson as soon as possible. Su Chen was confused. How much kindness did his grandfather have to Zhou Wanqiu that made him so confident in him? However, Su Chen felt a little bitter. The old man might not know it yet. Su Chen felt annoyed. The old man went to bed, and Su Chen had to go upstairs. This does not affect the fact that she is a great beauty. What would it feel like to sleep in the same bed with her? Su Chen was very curious. Chapter 7. Should I sleep outside or inside? Zhao's villa, second floor. There was a burst of voices coming from Zhou Wanqiu's bedroom. King, that country bumpkin, looked so depressed in the afternoon. But after he came back, everything was fine. I don't know what he was thinking. During dinner, I hinted to him to cancel the marriage with Grandpa, but he pretended not to understand. How hateful. Grandpa also asked me to take him to the company tomorrow and arrange a position for him where he would have frequent contact with me. I'm so annoyed. I get annoyed when I see him. Zhou Wanqiu wore a large bathrobe, her face full of depression, and she kept complaining to her bestie Guan on video. Tonight, that bastard is going to sleep in the same room with me. What should I do if he molests me? On the mobile phone screen, a beautiful young woman covered her mouth and laughed. What are you afraid of? I heard that if a man moisturizes you, it will get bigger. Don't you always think you are not big enough? Let this country bumpkin moisturize you. Maybe you can become a little cow, comparable to that Kinyao. Zhou Wanqiu blushed with shame and threw herself on the bed, wishing she could pull her bestie out of the screen and teach her a lesson. You are annoying. You are the little cow. The two played for a long time. Zhou Wanqiu climbed down from the bed and stood straight on the ground. She didn't care about her messy clothes, but stretched out 3 fingers and said as if she was swearing, I promise that I will teach him a lesson in the company tomorrow and let this bastard retreat when he sees difficulties. Yeah. Come on. Guan King encouraged. At this moment, the bedroom door suddenly opened. Su Chen's figure appeared at the door. The two looked at each other. Su Chen was stunned. Because Zhou Wanqiu in front of him was really wearing hot clothes. She was wearing a large bathrobe, but because of the rolling and tossing while lying on the bed chatting, a large area of snow white skin was exposed. After Zhou Wanqiu took a bath, she was used to going out vacuum. This time, Su Chen saw it clearly. Ah! Zhou Wanqiu screamed and then cursed. Don't you know how to knock on the door? Get out! Zhou Wanqiu was angry and annoyed and shouted. Su Chen felt guilty and hurriedly left. Zhou Wanqiu was so angry that she quickly put on her clothes. After a long time, when Su Chen knocked on the door again and went in, the red glow on Zhou Wanqiu's face had not completely faded. Do you have any manners? Don't you know you should knock before entering the door? Do you know how to respect women? Zhou Wanqiu was like a string of cannons. Su Chen felt guilty and had to let her vent her anger. After a while, Zhou Wanqiu's tone calmed down. Didn't I tell you? I'm a lesbian. We can't be together. Why didn't you cancel this marriage with Grandpa during dinner? Zhou Wanqiu asked. Su Chen said calmly, my grandfather gave me the task of letting me be with you. He said that if I stay with you for a year, there will be great benefits. But he didn't tell me, what if you are gay? So, I can only be with you first, and when I find him, I will ask him what to do. Zhou Wanqiu was speechless. Then where is your grandfather now? Su Chen shook his head. I don't know. He often disappeared in the past, and usually came back after a few months. Of course, there was a time when he didn't come back for 3 years. Zhou Wanqiu rolled his eyes. 3 years. The child will call mom. No way. The homosexual trick seems to only ensure that this country bumpkin will not take advantage of her. but he still wants to pester her. How can this be solved? It seems that she still needs to find a way in the company. After making up her mind, Zhou Wanqiu was too lazy to pay attention to Su Chen and lay down on the bed directly. Okay, go to sleep. I'm warning you. Be honest at night. I'm a man at heart. If you want to take advantage of me, you're just taking advantage of me, riding on me, forcing me to do it, and locking me up. Zhou Wanqiu warned. Su Chen got goosebumps from what she said. Don't say any more. Su Chen interrupted quickly and then asked, should I sleep outside or inside? Zhou Wanqiu rolled her eyes at Su Chen. Are you dreaming? You sleep there. Zhou Wanqiu pointed to the corner. Su Chen then noticed that there were folded blankets and mattresses in the corner, as well as a sleeping bag. That's pretty good. Su Chen smiled with ease. In fact, he was also a little nervous about sleeping in the same bed with lesbian Zhou Wanqiu. It would be better if they didn't sleep together. Zhou Wanqiu saw Su Chen's expression and immediately got angry. It's me who doesn't want to sleep with a country bumpkin like you. Okay, what do you mean by your thankful expression? Tomorrow, I will have someone teach you a lesson. With all his resentment towards Su Chen, Zhou Wanqiu tossed and turned for a long time before falling asleep. As for Su Chen, he sat cross-legged and practiced until late at night before lying down to sleep. This was his habit since he was a child. The next morning, Zhao Girang brought Su Chen a new suit from Bincheng. The size was short and fat, but fortunately Su Chen had a good frame, so it didn't look awkward when he put it on. Zhou Chen looks so handsome in this suit. Wanqiu is almost not worthy of him. Zhou Wanqiu laughed. Zhou Wanqiu was so angry that she almost bit off the chopsticks. Grandpa is too partial. This bumpkin is your biological grandson. I'm not worthy of him, so let him go back to the noble countryside. Zhou Wanqiu was full of resentment, and the more he looked at Su Chen, the angrier he got. After breakfast, Zhou Wanqiu reminded Wanqiu, remember to find a job for Zhou Chen where he can have more contact with you and cultivate feelings. Zhou Wanqiu sneered in his heart and agreed. Okay, Grandpa. Haha. When he gets to the company, I will let him work as a security guard at the door and bask in the sun. In this way, he can greet me every day and have more contact with me. Zhou Wanqiu thought secretly. At the side, Zhao Girang suddenly interrupted. I remember that there is a secretariat in the company, which is full of assistant secretaries of you senior executives. You can let Zhou Chen be your secretary and work in the secretariat. You can also take him with you if you have any work or meetings. Zhou Wanqiu was stunned. Yes, this is good. This is it. Zhou Wanqiu made the decision directly. Zhou Wanqiu forced a smile and said, okay. After dinner, Zhou Wanqiu was about to drive Su Chen to the company. Zhou Wanqiu reminded again, by the way, take some time today and get your marriage certificate. I want to see the certificate when I come back. Zhou Wanqiu didn't respond. She just stepped on the accelerator and drove away. She seemed to want to vent her anger, and she drove very fast. She wanted to see Su Chen panicking. However, Su Chen was like a clock, motionless. Zhou Wanqiu herself was scared half to death, but Su Chen still didn't have any emotional fluctuations. Dead face. Stupid and bold. Zhou Wanqiu was very angry. Su Chen, I want to make 3 rules with you. Zhou Wanqiu said. Su Chen said calmly, speak. Zhou Wanqiu said, first, in the future, you can't tell anyone about our relationship. You can't use me as your capital to show off. Second, in the future, you must knock on the door when you enter and exit my place. You are not allowed to touch my things without my permission. Third, we can't interfere with each other's emotional life, but we must keep it secret in front of grandpa and mom, and they can't find out. Su Chen thought about it and said, okay. In his heart, he wanted to stay away from this homosexual. Zhou Wanqiu was a little surprised to hear Su Chen agree so readily. However, at least it was an agreement, which was a good thing. Before the car reached the parking lot, Zhou Wanqiu quickly found a corner to stop. Get out of the car. Don't let others see that you came here in my car. Su Chen was speechless. What about when you go home? Then, you come to this place and wait, and I will pick you up. Is that not okay? Zhou Wanqiu said. Su Chen nodded. Okay, then remember, Don't be late. Zhou Wanqiu rolled his eyes in anger. It seems that Su Chen regarded himself as his driver. Okay, you wait. I guess you won't want to come to the company after today. Humph. Zhou Wanqiu gritted his teeth and said secretly, if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8. Teach you how to serve others. Su Chen stood at the entrance of Zhao's catering group. A woman in work uniform came up to him. You are Mr. Su Chen, right? I'm Li Fingjiao, the hour manager. Mr. Zhao asked me to take you to the office. Su Chen nodded. It turned out that Zhou Wanqiu had arranged everything. Su Chen followed Li Fingjiao, took the things he needed, and then walked towards the secretariat. When he arrived at the office of the secretariat, before he entered the door, there was a commotion inside. Come on. Let's drink more today. No, I'll be drunk all day if I drink early in the morning. Today, I have to play the promotion match in the game. Can you guys keep your voice down? I chatted with a girl for half the night last night, so I need to sleep in the morning. Come on, you fat licker. You must have watched a movie and masturbated for half the night. Bang. The office door opened. Su Chen frowned. It was a mess inside. Various documents were placed randomly. Snack bags, wine bottles, playing cards, and garbage bags were everywhere. If Su Chen hadn't known in advance that this was an office, he would have thought it was some otaku's bedroom. There were several employees who sat at their workstations. But there were 4 or 5 people, some dancing on chairs, some exercising with dumbbells, some dancing on the spot. One of them even dyed his hair silver. Seeing Li Fingjiao and Su Chen come in, everyone looked over immediately. Ahem. This is the new member of your secretariat, Mr. Zhao's new assistant secretary, Su Chen. Zhang Yu, teach him. After saying that, Li Fingjiao turned and left. It seemed that she would feel uncomfortable if she stayed in this place for one more minute. The people who sat at their workstations looked at Su Chen with some envy. The secretariat department is important and unimportant. The most important thing is to see which leader you are connected with. If you are Zhao Pingjiang or Zhou Wanqiu's secretary, you can arrange for you to be a leader in a department if you perform well. If it is shared by everyone, then you are just an errand boy. What's more, there are many dandy descendants of the company's middle and senior leaders in the secretariat. These guys really can't make achievements in other departments. Finally, they could only be arranged to the secretariat. At least these leaders could watch over them personally. Even Zhou Wanqiu was Zhao Pingjiang's secretary at the beginning, and she was a temporary employee in the secretariat. Therefore, in the eyes of these honest employees, Su Chen was the kind of person who might rise to the top overnight. When the other unruly people heard Su Chen's name, they looked at each other, and their eyes lit up. You guys, go out first and close the door. We will teach the newcomers first. Come in half an hour. Don't open the door, no matter who calls you. The young man with dyed silver hair ordered. The other employees were stunned and quickly retreated and closed the door. Su Chen looked indifferent, looking at the remaining 4 people in front of him. A silver-haired shamat, a fat man, a muscular man wearing a fitness short-sleeved shirt and showing his muscles, and a hot girl wearing a leather jacket and leather pants. How the hell do these people look like secretaries? They are almost like gangsters. Boy, my name is Zhang Yu. You will be a member of our secretariat in the future. However, you must know the rules and be able to serve others when you enter our secretariat, understand? Zhang Yu said with a sneer. Su Chen's expression was indifferent. I don't understand. Otherwise, can you teach me? Yo. Zhang Yu sneered. It seems that you want to make yourself uncomfortable. After he finished speaking, the fat man, the fitness hunk and the little girl next to him all surrounded him. The fitness hunk even picked up a dumbbell and sneered at Su Chen while holding it. Boy, I'll give you one last chance, otherwise you'll be ready to kneel on the ground and sing conquer for me. Zhang Yu shook his silver hair. If you want to be beaten, hurry up. Su Chen said impatiently. Damn. Hit him. Pretend to be cool. Several people were angry and rushed directly towards Su Chen. Bang, bang, bang. Three loud noises. The killer Zhang Yu, the fat man, and the fitness hunk flew out directly. They knocked down several tables in succession before stopping. The little girl was so frightened that she was stunned. She dropped a bottle of wine in her hand. Big brother, I was just trying to scare you. The little girl's mouth was trembling. Zhang Yu, the fat man and the fitness hunk also had painful faces and groaned. Su Chen stepped forward. The three of them were so scared that they almost wet their pants. Zhang Yu said fiercely, Su Chen, you are dead. My father is a senior executive of the company. If you kneel down and sing conquer now, I will. He stopped talking before he finished. Because Su Chen picked up the dumbbell on the ground and folded it hard in the middle, the dumbbell bent. Zhang Yu swallowed deeply. The fat man and the fitness hunk were also dumbfounded. What did you just say? Su Chen glanced at Zhang Yu. I said, I want to sing conquer for you, big brother. Zhang Yu quickly changed his words. Su Chen said lightly, then go. Just let me be conquered by you, and drink the poison you hid. Zhang Yu knelt on the ground with a bitter face and howled. Outside the secretariat office, several employees looked at each other in bewilderment as they listened to the singing coming from inside. I guess Su Chen thought he was Mr. Zhao's secretary, so he didn't obey them, so they teased him. What's the use of disobeying them? You should just sing conquer obediently now. But this voice sounds a little familiar to me. Why is it Zhang Yu's voice? How is that possible? Several people laughed and thought it was impossible. People from other departments were no longer surprised by the strange scene in the secretariat. In the office, Zhang Yu howled after a song. He stood together with the other three again, too scared to speak. Come on. Tell me, what happened? Su Chen asked. Zhang Yu quickly said, brother, we didn't mean it. It was Sister Qiu. She asked us to do this. She used to be the boss of our secretariat, and now she is even more our boss. Zhou Wanqiu? Su Chen understood immediately. This woman probably wanted to make him retreat in this way. But with just these guys, it was still too whimsical. Brother, we were wrong. We won't dare to do it again. The other three people also quickly admitted their mistakes. What if Zhou Wanqiu asks? Su Chen asked. Zhang Yu rolled his eyes and said, we'll just say that we beat you to your knees and sang conquer. Okay, that's it. Su Chen didn't plan to bother these guys anymore. It was pointless. Clean up the office. From now on, the office must not be so dirty and messy. Several people didn't dare to say anything and hurried to clean up. Soon, the office was clean and tidy. The fitness hunk next to him approached Su Chen secretly. Brother Chen, my name is Xian Yang. How come you are so awesome? Can you teach me? Zhang Yu and the other two also came over quickly. Su Chen said, that's because you are too weak. No, I'm super awesome. I'm the signature of our macho trio. As he spoke, Xian Yang also showed off his biceps. Su Chen smiled. Only 2 minutes in bed. Super awesome? Xian Yang's face flushed with shame when his private secrets were exposed. Ha ha ha. Brother Yang, it turns out you only lasted 2 minutes. Ha ha ha. Zhang Yu laughed. The fat man also laughed. Su Chen looked at Zhang Yu and the fat man. If you two don't take the medicine, it seems that you can't last 3 minutes, right? Zhang Yu and the fat man were stunned and embarrassed. It's a group of 3 macho men, but it's obviously a kidney deficiency team. Su Chen's complaints made the 3 people embarrassed, but there was also a hint of surprise in their eyes. Brother Chen, you also know medical skills? Do you think I should be fine? Asked the little girl. Su Chen said, rolling around in pain due to dysmenorrhea. Isn't it a problem? The little girl was stunned and then asked excitedly, Brother Chen, you are amazing. Can you cure it? Su Chen nodded. Can you cure it for me? The little girl was excited. Yes. As he spoke, Su Chen took out the silver needle and treated the little girl. Her problem was simple and easy to handle. Okay, next time, it won't hurt. But, don't go barefoot in the future. Yeah. The little girl excitedly shouted, I feel it. My lower abdomen is no longer cold, but warm. Thank you, Brother Chen. The other 3 men also ran over and hugged Su Chen and said, Brother, please treat me. Su Chen agreed to help them prepare some medicine when he was free. For a while, several people became Su Chen's fans. Su Chen smiled faintly. If Zhou Wanqiu knew that his confidant became his younger brother, I wonder what his expression would be. Chapter 9 Handsome Combination. The door of the secretariat office was reopened. Several employees came in and looked at Su Chen curiously. Su Chen just sat at the desk in the corner and didn't say much. What are you looking at? Go and do your work. If you don't behave yourself in the future, that will be the end. Zhang Yu pointed at Su Chen and said arrogantly. Several employees hurried back to sit down. Zhang Yu took advantage of the fact that no one was paying attention and secretly apologized to Su Chen with a fist. On the other side, the president's office. Zhou Wanqiu called Li Fengjiao into the office. Did anything happen after you sent that Su Chen to the secretariat office? Zhou Wanqiu asked. Li Fengjiao said, as soon as I left the house, Zhang Yu drove the other employees out. Later, I heard that Su Chen seemed to have been beaten and knelt on the ground singing Conquer Boss Zhao. If you didn't like Su Chen, why did you let him be your secretary? Zhou Wanqiu glanced at Li Fengjiao, and Li Fengjiao quickly shut up. Don't ask about things you shouldn't ask about. Zhou Wanqiu said in an embarrassed tone. She couldn't say that Su Chen was her husband. After letting Li Fengjiao go, Zhou Wanqiu called Zhang Yu. Zhang Yu described how he taught Su Chen in a grandiose way. Zhou Wanqiu smiled. Okay. Don't go too far, just give Su Chen a little hardship. Zhang Yu smiled and said, don't worry, I guarantee to complete the task. He hung up the phone. Su Chen, I'll see when you can't stand it anymore and take the initiative to tell my grandfather that you want to go back. Zhou Wanqiu snorted. On the other side, secretariat office. After a morning, Su Chen was a little bored. There was nothing to do in the secretariat. Even if there was errands, most of them were done by those honest employees. Originally, several old employees wanted to win over Su Chen to join them, thinking that they also had newcomers to bully. As a result, they were scolded by Zhang Yu, saying that Su Chen was the exclusive younger brother of their kidney deficiency team. Several honest employees could only look at Su Chen with pity and sympathize with him. Su Chen felt a little funny. Zhang Yu is a silver-haired shaman who likes playing games and gossiping. The fat guy is Liu Pan, an online dating expert and a veteran licker. The fitness expert is Xian Yang, who is honest, loves fitness and martial arts, and dreams of becoming a hero. There is also a little girl, Su Jiao, who is simple-minded and has no bad intentions. Su Chen has already recognized all of them. Although they are more dandy, they are not malicious people. Lunchtime. Su Chen, come with us to have lunch. Zhang Yu called out carelessly. Su Chen smiled and stood up. In the morning, Su Chen had already learned about Zhou Wanqiu's company. Zhao's catering group started out as a catering company. Now in Bincheng, in addition to fast food chains, it also has its own independent restaurants and food factories, and has contracted the canteens of many companies and factories. It can be regarded as a leading catering group in Bincheng. Of course, there is also a canteen inside Zhao's catering group. Su Chen and Zhang Yu sat at a dining table together. The other employees around seemed to know these guys and kept away from them. Su Chen was speechless about them. However, Zhang Yu and others were unaware. Brother Chen, our 3-man macho squad has now been upgraded to 4 people, so we need to change our name. Let's call it the Handsome Combination. Zhang Yu looked excited. Su Chen glanced at Zhang Yu and said, handsome? Then I'm handsome? I'm Qi. Zhang Yu said, I'm a human. The fat man quickly answered, I am. Xian Yang almost said it, and his face suddenly fell. On the side, Su Jiao laughed so hard, ha ha ha. The relationship between the few people soon became good. Look, Mr. Zhao is here. Everyone turned around to look. Zhou Wanqiu walked into the cafeteria with a cold and domineering face. She took a glance first, and many employees lowered their heads. Zhou Wanqiu took a step and walked towards Su Chen's table. Zhang Yu immediately started to perform. Su Chen, I asked you to serve me this dish. I think you don't want to be here anymore. Do you still want to sing conquer? Zhang Yu was arrogant. Zhang Yu, what are you doing? Zhou Wanqiu's voice sounded in time. Sister Qiu, we are teaching the newcomers how to do things. Zhang Yu said hurriedly. Su Chen felt a little funny. This Zhang Yu is really a good material for being a double agent. Zhou Wanqiu smiled and looked at Su Chen. As a result, he did not see the humiliation and anger he wanted to see. This country bumpkin is too tolerant. Zhou Wanqiu thought to himself. Su Chen, come with me. Zhou Wanqiu called Su Chen to a corner. Su Chen, I heard that they bullied you? Zhou Wanqiu looked concerned. This woman is really a drama queen. Su Chen felt funny and replied, no. But in Zhou Wanqiu's eyes, Su Chen was just trying to save face and suffer. Zhou Wanqiu looked helpless. If it were someone else, I would be able to handle it better. But these guys are all nephews and nieces of the company's senior executives, and I can't do anything about it. If they continue to bully you every day, you should stay home. We'll talk about it later. Su Chen said, and turned back. Zhou Wanqiu's lips curled up a smile. She walked away in high heels. Brother Chen, why did Sister Qiu look for you? What's your relationship? Zhang Yu looked gossipy. Eat your meal. Su Chen was too lazy to pay attention to him. Several people were eating and talking nonsense. Su Chen also learned a lot about Zhao's catering group through these guys. Suddenly, there was a noise outside the cafeteria. Zhang Yu, who was so lively, put down his bowl and chopsticks and ran out to see. Soon, he came back and shouted, brothers, that shameless Yi Junying is here again, harassing Sister Qiu again, harassing my wife. Su Chen was stunned. Several people hurried out of the restaurant. Only then did they realize that the entrance of the restaurant was already filled with roses and candles. A young man in a suit and gold-rimmed glasses stood in the center. Opposite him stood a cool, pretty, and graceful woman. It was none other than Su Chen's wife, Zhou Wanqiu. Su Chen narrowed his eyes. Isn't Zhou Wanqiu a lesbian? Why are there still men chasing her? This man with glasses is about to put a hat on himself. Damn. This bastard is doing this again. Zhang Yu spat fiercely. Who is this man? Su Chen asked. Zhang Yu quickly introduced. He Junying, the son of He Zenshan, the boss of He's catering group. Their family is originally a competitor to us, and they always make things difficult for us. This He Junying, however, is thinking about chasing after Sister Wanqiu every day, and he doesn't even look at what kind of character he is. Going to nightclubs, picking up girls, and messing with good families every day. His reputation is stinking. Now he still wants to have both money and women. It's just a dream. In the flowers, He Junying blocked Zhou Wanqiu. Wanqiu, my love for you is known by heaven. Your family is in the catering business, and so is mine. Let's join forces, sweep across Bincheng, cross the provincial capital, and go to the world. When my family wins the bid for the new factory of SYNOPSIS Group, we can also give your family a part. Just accept me. Facing He Junying's persistence, Zhou Wanqiu looked disgusted. He Junying, I will get the new factory project of SYNOPSIS Group myself, and I don't need He's to give it to us. Why are you chasing me? You know it in your heart. I have no interest in you, and I have no interest in cooperating with your family. The smile on He Junying's face slowly solidified. Haha. You are shameless, right? Today, I must be with you. As he spoke, He Junying approached directly. Chapter 10. Talking in a baby voice. Zhou Wanqiu's face changed. Security. Suddenly, more than a dozen security guards rushed up. Haha, security? Alang, Ahu, teach them a lesson. Behind He Junying, two men in black stood up. They threw out steel bars and flashed. In less than half a minute, all the security guards fell to the ground, groaning in pain. The other employees hurriedly stepped back. Zhou Wanqiu's face changed. Zhou Wanqiu, did you see that? Alang and Ahu are the ruthless men under my second uncle, who have seen blood. You useless trash are useless. I said I'm going to take you down today, and I'm going to take you down. He Junying said arrogantly. Zhou Wanqiu was immediately panicked. He Junying's second uncle is He Zhenlong, the boss of the Black Dragon Society, an underground force in Bincheng, a real ruthless man. His men are definitely not something that ordinary security guards can deal with. He Junying pressed on step by step. Zhou Wanqiu was a little flustered. At this moment, a teasing voice sounded. Who is so unethical that he throws garbage all over the floor? A figure came out with a broom and swept the petals on the floor to the side. It was Su Chen. Zhou Wanqiu was stunned. He Juniying's face suddenly darkened. You little bastard. Are you looking for death on purpose? Alang. Ahu. Teach him a lesson. Let him know the consequences of meddling in other people's business. The two bodyguards in black sneered and rushed towards Su Chen. Su Chen, run. He dare not touch me. Zhou Wanqiu shouted hurriedly. Su Chen smiled and went to meet him. Zhou Wanqiu cursed. Are you stupid? Suddenly, her words stopped at her lips. Because she saw Su Chen picked up the broom and hit the black-clad bodyguards twice. The two bodyguards stood there like idiots, letting Su Chen knock on their heads. Plop, plop. The two were knocked unconscious on the ground. Everyone around was stunned. He Juniying was stunned. What happened to Ahu and Alang? Su Chen came forward with a broom, and He Juniying was a little scared. He quickly stepped back and said, "What are you going to do? My father is He Zenshan from the He group, and my second uncle is He Zhenlang. What do you want to do?" Su Chen smiled and said, "Don't be afraid, I'm not doing anything. I just want to remind you that you have ruined your body and can't get hard without taking medicine, so don't chase girls everywhere." Ha ha ha. The crowd of onlookers burst into laughter. Zhou Wanqiu's pretty face was also rosy, and she spat and cursed, "Rogue." He Juniying's face suddenly flushed, and he cursed, You bastard." He was so angry that he rushed directly towards Su Chen. Su Chen casually threw the broom, secretly poked He Juniying, and then slapped him away. "I'm talking to you, but you don't believe it. You are so old, but you still wet your pants." He Juniying looked down and saw that his pants were already wet. He was immediately ashamed and angry. "Get out of here. Take the two rubbish you brought with you," Su Chen said calmly. He Juniying had blood on his lips and a vicious look on his face. "Okay, you wait for me." Then, he left quickly. Zhang Yu and the other four immediately surrounded him. "Brother Chen, awesome. You're so fierce. Brother Chen, you have to teach me kung fu." They had seen Su Chen's bravery in the morning, but they didn't expect that even underground masters like Alang and Ahu were no match for Su Chen. At this time, a cold voice sounded. "Brother Chen? Zhang Yu? How come I haven't heard of you? You recognized a big brother?" Zhou Wanqiu's eyes were cold. "Fuck, it's exposed." Zhang Yu shuddered and looked at Zhou Wanqiu with a bitter face. He was so excited just now that he forgot that Zhou Wanqiu was right next to him. At this time, Zhou Wanqiu's face was full of anger. She looked at Zhang Yu and others who looked embarrassed, and she was very angry. Looking at Su Chen again, she felt even more embarrassed. Just before lunch, Su Chen must have known that it was he who arranged for Zhang Yu to teach him a lesson. As a result, he ran over and pretended to care about him. This bastard must be laughing at him in his heart. Zhou Wanqiu felt that he was like a clown. In an instant, a nameless anger came up. "Su Chen, who asked you to hit someone? He Juniying is the young master of the He's catering group. You are making an enemy for our group. Fine you half a month's salary and clean up this place." After venting her anger, Zhou Wanqiu turned and left. She was afraid that she would walk too slowly, and the embarrassment on her face could not be hidden. "This woman is sick," Su Chen complained. He obviously helped her, but not only was his salary deducted, but he was also punished to clean up. Zhang Yu and others heard Su Chen's complaints and did not dare to respond. "Brother Chen, we will clean up. You can just rest." Xian Yang stepped forward to show his loyalty. He loves martial arts the most. Now, Su Chen is his idol. Finally, Zhang Yu, Liu Pan and Xian Yang cleaned up for Su Chen. On the other side, He Juniying returned to his second uncle's Black Dragon Society's territory, his face full of resentment. Crash. He Juniying kicked the table over. He kept cursing. "Bitch. I have been humble to her several times, but she dared to do this to me. You two are also useless. Just let someone knock you out. And that bastard, he dared to hit me. I must kill him." Sitting on the sofa next to him was a man with a fierce face, who was He Juniying's second uncle, the boss of the Black Dragon Society of Bincheng Underground Forces. He Zhenlang. "Zioing, calm down. I asked Ahu and Alang. They said they were careless and didn't expect that kid to act so quickly. Besides, since soft doesn't work, then use hard methods." He Zhenlang said lightly. He Juniying asked, "Second uncle, how to use hard methods?" He Zhenlong exhaled a long puff of smoke. It's very simple. I will send someone to help you tie up Zhou Wanqiu. You can give her some drugs to force her to sleep and then take some photos. Anyway, the third generation of the Zhou family only has this one daughter. If you hold her handle, Zhou Pingjiang and Zhou Rongchang will have no say. Her Zhao's catering group will belong to you. At that time, you don't have to compete with the Zhou family for the new factory project of Cheyenne Heo Group. This is He Zhenlong's usual method. He Juniying's face changed and finally nodded. Okay. This bitch, she doesn't want to give her face, so let's do something hard to her. As for the employee in her company, wait until I finish dealing with Zhou Wanqiu, and then slowly torment him. He wanted to pretend to be a gentleman and win Zhou Wanqiu by means of love. But now it seems that it obviously won't work. That's fine, then don't pretend. Showdown. He Juniying showed a vicious smile on his face. He was already imagining what kind of posture he would use to educate Zhou Wanqiu after catching her. On the other side, Su Chen returned to the secretariat office. Suddenly, he received a strange phone call. Hello, dear, did you miss me? Su Chen was stunned. Did you call the wrong number? The sweet female voice on the other side asked. Is that Su Chen? Su Chen was even more puzzled. It's me. Who are you? You are a heartless man. You looked at me, touched me, and left after taking advantage of me. You are so bad. Kinyao? Su Chen asked. Did you hear the babyish sound in my voice? What the hell is a babyish sound? You have big breasts, so you have the final say. Su Chen frowned slightly. What does this woman want to do again? Chapter 11. I'm not a vase. Su Chen, I have something to discuss with you. Let's have lunch together? Kinyao asked. Su Chen frowned slightly. Although he didn't eat enough at noon, he didn't want to get too involved with Kinyao. This sister has a strange way of thinking. However, Kinyao seemed to know what he was thinking, and said in advance, if you don't want to come out with me, then I will go to your Zhao group to find you. Come to Zhao group. If Zhou Wanqiu saw him, he would definitely target him even more. Su Chen immediately changed his words and said, no, let's make an appointment outside. Okay. Then I'll drive to pick you up and arrive downstairs of your group in 10 minutes. Kinyao said and hung up the phone directly. Su Chen looked helpless. Zhang Yu, how long can we rest at noon? Su Chen asked. Zhang Yu was playing games and said without raising his head, we can just punch in when we get off work. No one will care. Fuck. I died again. These stupid teammates are still spraying me. Zhang Yu was so angry that he knocked on the table twice. Su Chen was speechless. As expected, he is a prince who just lives a lazy life. Su Chen looked at Zhang Yu's phone. As expected, there were many messages from his teammates scolding him. You big jerk, you are still a jerk, even when you are trying to grab a position. You are such a loser. I helped you twice, but you still can't beat him. I scolded him, but he still kept talking back. I guess he is also a loser in real life. Idiot. Loser. Quit now. Zhang Yu looked at Su Chen with a miserable face. Brother Chen, I was scolded so badly. If you can help me save face, I will help you in the afternoon, no matter when you come back. Su Chen thought about it, took Zhang Yu's phone, and replied to his teammates. Sorry, my girlfriend wants it. You guys go have fun. Teammate 1. Teammate 2. Teammate 3. Ha ha ha. Brother Chen is awesome. I surrender. Go ahead. Ha ha ha. Let me laugh for a while. Zhang Yu laughed so hard that tears came out. Su Chen turned and walked out. Walking out of the group building. Beep. A car horn sounded. The next moment, a red Ferrari sports car approached. The car window slowly rolled down, revealing a beautiful and delicate face. Handsome guy, do you want to have sex in the car? The person sitting in the Ferrari sports car was Kinyao. Su Chen was speechless. This sister's style is always beyond ordinary people's imagination. Get in the car. Kinyao's seductive expression disappeared and smiled sweetly. Su Chen stepped into the car. The Ferrari drove away quickly. At this time, in the coffee shop downstairs of Zhao's catering group, Zhou Wanqiu looked out the window in a daze. Hey, what's wrong with you? Opposite her, a beautiful young woman asked. King, I seem to see that Su Chen getting into a Ferrari sports car. Zhou Wanqiu said in a puzzled tone. Guan Qingqing covered her mouth and laughed. No way. Didn't you say that your husband is a country bumpkin? How could he drive a Ferrari sports car? Zhou Wanqiu lowered her head and took a sip of coffee. Maybe my eyes are dazzled. Guan Qingqing smiled, then asked curiously, by the way, you said that Su Chen knocked down the 2 bodyguards brought by He Junying. Is he so good at fighting? Zhou Wanqiu sneered. He just attacked by surprise. He knocked people out when they weren't paying attention. That guy, except for knowing some rural folk remedies, is useless. By the way, his EQ is low, and he can't understand other people's subtext at all. Zhou Wanqiu was full of resentment towards Su Chen. Ha ha ha. Okay, stop talking. I can feel that you are going crazy. Guan Qingqing laughed. Tell me about your company. Have you got the bid for Cheyenne Heo Group's new factory? Zhou Wanqiu shook his head. Cheyenne Heo Group will build these new factories and there will be tens of thousands of workers. If we can contract their canteens, the profit will be considerable. However, his catering group is competing with us. This business is very difficult. If I could get in touch with Qin Wentian, the president of Cheyenne Heo Group. Guan Qingqing sighed and said, Qin Wentian is the president of Bincheng Chamber of Commerce. It's too difficult to meet him. I think you can find her daughter Qin Yao. You are both one of the 4 flowers of Bincheng. Just say you want to compete with her for beauty. She might be willing to see you. No. As he spoke, Guan Qingqing shook his head. If you just talk about a beauty contest, Qin Yao may feel that she is not sure of winning and may not necessarily see you. You can say you want to compete with her for breasts. I guess she will come out immediately and destroy you. Ah. Qingqing, you slut. So annoying. Zhou Wanqiu blushed. The two of them started to play around, becoming a beautiful scenery. They chatted for a while before they separated. Just as they were leaving, a black van suddenly stopped at the door of the coffee shop. 2 men in black came out, stepped forward to cover Zhou Wanqiu's mouth, grabbed her and pulled her into the car. Ah. What are you doing? Someone come. Help. Guan Qingqing shouted hurriedly and stepped forward to stop them. As a result, she was weak and did not play any role at all. In less than 10 seconds, Zhou Wanqiu was pulled into the van. Soon, the van disappeared. The only thing left at the scene was the bag that Zhou Wanqiu dropped when she struggled. Guan Qingqing hurriedly stepped forward to pick it up and took out the mobile phone inside. He found a few phone numbers and dialed them. What do you want to eat? Western food, okay. Qin Yao asked in the Ferrari sports car. Su Chen shook his head and said, I'm not used to it. Is there a noodle shop with soybean paste? Qin Yao smiled sweetly. I know a small noodle shop that tastes good. Let's go. Soon, the fiery red Ferrari parked steadily in front of a fly restaurant. Oil stains can be seen everywhere on the ground, but Qin Yao didn't care at all. When the people around saw the Ferrari sports car, they hurriedly moved their electric cars to the side, fearing that they would accidentally scratch the luxury car. You don't have to move. If you scratch it, I will change to another one. I have an identical one at home. Qin Yao smiled. Rich people are so willful. Su Chen sighed secretly. The two walked into the noodle shop and sat in a corner. The eyes of the people around were all cast on Qin Yao. This woman is so beautiful, and the key is that her figure is so explosive. On this street, where D-level strongmen can be kings, a strong man above F-level is invincible. Qin Yao was not angry, but instead raised her proud chest and looked at others. Those who peeked quickly lowered their heads. You coward. Qin Yao laughed. Su Chen was speechless about Qin Yao's bad taste. The noodles for the two came up quickly. Although the environment of the small restaurant was not very clean, the taste was really good. What surprised Su Chen was that Qin Yao didn't care about the dining environment at all and ate the noodles. This made him feel much better about Qin Yao. By the way, what exactly did you come to me for? Su Chen asked after taking a bite of noodles. I want to invite you to our business cocktail party, and I will host it myself. As she spoke, Qin Yao stuck out her tongue and licked the soup at the corner of her mouth. It was very tempting. Su Chen could only pretend not to see it. You will host the business cocktail party yourself? Su Chen was a little surprised. When he asked this, Qin Yao on the opposite side pursed her mouth and said pitifully, "What do you mean by this? Do you think I'm just a vase?" Su Chen was about to explain, but Qin Yao proudly puffed out her chest and said, "I'm a milk bottle." Su Chen almost spit out a mouthful of noodles from his nose. This? Who can stand this? Can I not go? Su Chen frowned. Qin Yao stood up directly, sat next to Su Chen, hugged Su Chen's arm and acted coquettishly. "Go ahead. This is the first time I'm the host of this business party. Don't you give me face? Benefactor? He quickly changed his words and said, okay. Isn't it enough that I promised you? Sit back quickly and eat noodles. Okay, benefactor." Qin Yao smiled playfully, sat back, and ate noodles happily. At this moment, Su Chen's cell phone suddenly rang. "Answer it." A panicked female voice rang. "Su Chen, where are you? Wanqiu was kidnapped." Chapter 12 I'm afraid of trouble. In a small noodle shop, Su Chen put down the phone and stood up suddenly. "What's wrong?" Qin Yao asked. Su Chen hurriedly asked, "Miss Qin, can you help me check the license plate number?" Qin Yao saw Su Chen's expression and stopped joking, but nodded. "You say?" Su Chen told Guan Qingqing the license plate number he told her. Qin Yao made a phone call. Soon he got a reply. "This license plate number is a fake. However, I happened to ask the underground force Zhanggaitang in Bincheng. They said that this is the car of their rival Black Dragon Society." Qin Yao said. "Black Dragon Society?" Su Chen's eyes lit up. "Is the boss of the Black Dragon Society the second uncle of He Junying of the He's Catering Group?" Qin Yao thought about it and nodded. "Yes. He Zhenlong. His brother is He Zhenshan of the He's Catering Group, and his nephew is He Junying." "That's right." Su Chen instantly figured out the cause and effect. "Miss Qin, help me ask where the Black Dragon Society's nest is." Su Chen said. Qin Yao quickly gave the address. "Thank you, Miss Qin. I owe you a favor," Su Chen said seriously. As he spoke, Su Chen was about to leave. Qin Yao quickly said, "Are you going to the Black Dragon Society? Don't be impulsive. He Zhenlong has many masters under his command. You can't do it alone. My father knows people from Zhanggai Hall. Whatever you want to do, I'll ask him to find someone from Zhanggai Hall to help you do it. Don't take risks." Qin Yao was very anxious, but Su Chen shook his head. "It's too late. I have to go first." Although he had only met He Junying once, he could see that he was a vengeful person. Since He Junying had chosen to kidnap Zhou Wanqiu, he would definitely not let her go easily. Old man Zhou Rangchang was so good to him. Su Chen would definitely not let his granddaughter get hurt. Su Chen stood up and was about to leave. Qin Yao said, "Then I'll drive you there." "No need. In the city, your car is not as fast as mine." After saying that, Su Chen rushed out. Qin Yao was stunned for a while. After thinking for a while, she took out her cell phone and called Qin Wentian. "Dad, Su Chen seems to be in trouble. He has gone to the Black Dragon Society alone. You should ask Uncle Chen from Zhanggai Hall to take people there and make sure to protect him. If anything happens to him, I will never let you go." Qin Wentian hung up the phone with a bitter face. Although he had some friendship with Chen Zhanggai, the boss of Zhanggai Hall, but how could he easily make such a request that would easily lead to a fight between them and the Black Dragon Society? How much favor would he owe? But what could he do if his daughter spoke? Alas. Qin Wentian sighed. He had to continue to spoil his little cotton padded jacket even with tears in his eyes. He picked up the phone again. Su Chen was speeding on the street. Although he was relying on his feet, he was no slower than the cars on the road. Passers-by were puzzled from time to time, thinking that he was just exercising. But they didn't know that Su Chen was running a long-distance race at the speed of a 100-meter run. Soon, Su Chen arrived at the destination. The Black Dragon Society's lair is in a suburban manner. It's not big, but it's also impressive enough. The main building is a villa. In the lobby of the villa on the first floor, He Zhenlong, the boss of the Black Dragon Society, sat comfortably on a chair, smoking a cigar. Next to him stood his capable generals, along a Huandale language. Zhao has a good eye. That Zhou Wanqiu is really pretty, he Zhenlong said, touching his chin. Alang on the side smiled and said, Master Long, I will leave it to you. When the young master is done playing, you play for a night first, and then we will send her back. You want me to play with what my nephew left? He Zhenlong looked at Alang coldly. Alang lowered his head quickly. You are so talkative. Haha. He Zhenlong laughed. It's a novel experience. You can try it. Alang then raised his head and smiled. When my eldest brother swallows up Zhao's catering group, this Zhou Wanqiu will be useless. When the time comes, it is not impossible to give him to you to play with. He Zhenlong said with a smile. Alang and the other two bowed quickly. Thank you, Lord Long. I think you won't be able to wait until that day. A cold voice sounded, containing endless anger. He Zhenlong and others were startled and turned their heads to look at the door. Boom. The door exploded directly. A man walked in slowly from outside the door. It was Su Chen. Who are you? He Zhenlong asked. Come here. Why didn't anyone report it? Su Chen looked at him coldly. Are you talking about those rubbish guarding the door? They left before you. At this time, Alang pointed at Su Chen and shouted, Lord Long, he is the one who knocked me and Ahu unconscious. So it was you. You don't know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is just because you have some skills. He Zhenlong ordered, Ahu, Alang, kill him and wash away your shame. Ahu and Alang nodded immediately. The two men swung their hands and two machetes were already in their hands. Go to hell. The two men roared and rushed forward together. However, bang, bang, to loud noises. The two men flew backwards, as if they were hit by a high-speed motorcycle, hit the wall hard, slid down slowly, and dragged two bloodlines. For a moment, the scene was quiet. Along, come with me to take down this bastard. He Zhenlong shouted, and took action directly. How could he be a fool to get to his current position? Alang and Ahu are his capable men. Although they are not masters, they are unlikely to be killed easily. Su Chen in front of him killed two people so easily, he must be on guard. Alang's martial arts is obviously stronger than Alang and Ahu, and he Zhenlong's strength is even better than Alang. The two men were like tigers descending from the mountain, bringing a fierce wind. The next moment, they were in front of Su Chen. Su Chen still had a calm expression. He just kicked out quickly as before. Bang. Alang was no different from Ahu and Alang, smashing against the wall, leaving a trail of blood. As for He Zhenlong, his fist attacked, but Su Chen grabbed him. He couldn't break free. He Zhenlong was shocked. His strength came from fighting in the underground world of Bincheng, and it was definitely not a false reputation. However, he was caught so easily by Su Chen. Su Chen gently bent it. Crack. He Zhenlong's arm was directly broken, and the broken bone spurred out. Ah. He Zhenlong screamed miserably. Su Chen said expressionlessly, I only ask once, where was Zhou Wanqiu taken to? Upstairs. Upstairs. He Zhenlong dared not talk nonsense, and answered quickly. Please, spare me. I will never dare to do it again. I also persuaded my eldest brother not to be an enemy of Zhao. He Zhenlong begged bitterly. However, Su Chen shook his head. I don't believe you. I'm afraid of trouble. After that, he threw it casually. Bang. He Zhenlong was smashed directly against the wall like a broken sandbag. Another bloodstain. Su Chen didn't even look back, and walked up to the second floor. The second floor of the villa. He Junying looked at Zhou Wanqiu who was tied to the bed, and he was so excited. Little bitch, keep pretending. Today, I'll make you beg for mercy under my crotch, and record it as a video for your whole family to enjoy. As he spoke, he threw two small blue pills into his mouth. A normal person only needs one pill, but he needs at least two pills to have a reaction now. Then, he took out another bottle of pink liquid and ordered his men. This is new stuff from abroad. Even an 80-year-old lady would be so horny. Give her a drink. Zhou Wanqiu was horrified and kept backing away. But how could she avoid two grown men forcing her to take the medicine? After the pink liquid was poured down, Zhou Wanqiu felt hot all over and even a little blurry. She couldn't stop crying anymore. She knew that her innocence was going to be tarnished by this beast. At this moment, she suddenly felt a little regretful. If I had known this, I should have listened to my grandfather and slept with Su Chen last night. It would have been better than having my innocence taken away by this beast. You two get out. Young master, I want to enjoy myself. He Junying said with a smile. On the bed, Zhou Wanqiu's consciousness was completely confused. The next moment, He Junying pounced on him. Chapter 13, Sacrifice Yourself for Late Autumn. He Junying was just about to enjoy his prey. Bang! The door of the room opened. Fuck. Are you stupid? Didn't I tell you to get out? He Junying roared. However, when he turned around, he found that it was not the two younger brothers behind him. It was Su Chen. You, why is it you? He Junying suddenly panicked. Someone come. Someone come. Su Chen's face was cold, and he said, don't shout, there's no one outside. He Junying trembled and said, do you know where this is? This is the headquarters of the Black Dragon Society. My uncle is the boss of the Black Dragon Society. When he comes, you're dead. Su Chen sneered. Are you talking about that Zhenlang? He's dead. Next, it's you. What? He Junying's eyes widened. Impossible. Su Chen glanced at Zhou Wanqiu on the bed and was too lazy to talk nonsense with him. He stepped forward and grabbed He Junying like a chicken and lifted him out of the door. He Junying wanted to struggle, but it was futile to face Su Chen's grip like a steel clamp. In front of the railing on the second floor, He Junying was pressed down to look at the hole on the first floor. The bodies of Along, Ahu, Alang and He Zhenlang were in front of him. The next moment, a warm liquid flowed down He Junying's pants. He Junying finally knew he was scared. Brother, I was wrong. I apologize to you. Please spare my life. I can ask my father to pay you money. Please spare my life. However, Su Chen said coldly, I told your second uncle that I'm afraid of trouble. As soon as he finished speaking, he threw He Junying down the stairs. After a scream, He Junying was silent. Back to the room. Zhou Wanqiu on the bed was flushed, and her skin became hot. Su Chen picked up the bottle of pink liquid next to him, smelled it, and frowned slightly. This beast. Su Chen cursed He Junying inwardly, and then picked up Zhou Wanqiu. Although Zhou Wanqiu was unconscious, her hands were still touching Su Chen's body. Su Chen could only suppress the strange feeling in his heart, and walked away with big strides. When Su Chen arrived at the door of the first floor, a commotion was heard. Then, a group of people in black suits rushed in with weapons in hand. The leader was a middle-aged man. After these people rushed in, they were stunned to see the bloodstains and corpses all over the room. Then, they were horrified. He Zhenlang is dead. Along, Ahu, and Alang are also dead. Suddenly, everyone looked at Su Chen with vigilance. Su Chen glanced at these people coldly. Are you going to avenge He Zhenlang? The middle-aged man in the lead was stunned, then waved his hand and said, you are Su Chen, Mr. Su, right? Please don't misunderstand. We are from Zhangyi Hall, and we are mortal enemies of He Zhenlang's Black Dragon Society. I'm Chen Zhangyi, entrusted by Mr. Qin Wentian and Miss Qin Yao to rescue Mr. Su Chen. At this point, Chen Zhangyi showed a trace of embarrassment on his face. It seems that Mr. Qin and his daughter underestimated Mr. Su. I'm really sorry. Su Chen's expression suddenly relaxed. At this time, being able to risk offending the Black Dragon Society to help him is already very kind. Thank you for your support. Su Chen nodded, but I have to go and treat my friend now. Chen Zhangyi hurriedly said, you just go ahead. Su Chen was about to leave, but suddenly stopped and said, Mr. Chen, can I trouble you for something? Chen Zhangyi said, whatever Mr. Su asks, just arrange it. If you say that Chen Zhangyi came to the Black Dragon Society base before, it was to give Qin Wentian face. But now after seeing the miserable situation in the villa, he wants to take the initiative to please Su Chen. After all, the strength of the Black Dragon Society is no worse than that of his Zhangyi Hall, but it was still killed by Su Chen. In this way, if Su Chen wants to kill him, it is also easy. I want to say, can you say that what happened here was done by your Zhangyi Hall? I don't want to be too high profile. Su Chen said. If it weren't for Zhou Wanqiu being in danger, Su Chen would never do such a thing. But now that it has been done, it may cause some trouble if it is spread back. Facing Su Chen's request, Chen Zhangyi nodded quickly. No problem, Mr. Su. we will publicize that it was the Zhangyi Hall and the Black Dragon Society that had a fight, and then get rid of them. Anyway, there is already a grudge between us, so this will actually improve our reputation. Chen Zhangyi said it very nicely, as if he had taken advantage of Su Chen. But Su Chen understood that Chen Zhangyi was doing himself a favor. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chen. If you have any trouble in the future, you can find me. After Su Chen finished speaking, he hugged Zhou Wanqiu and turned away. Hearing his words, Chen Zhangyi's face suddenly showed a surprised smile. A younger brother asked, "Boss, why should we agree to him? Killing He Zhenlong of the Black Dragon Society is still not easy to deal with. You know shit." Chen Zhangyi scolded, "That little trouble is nothing compared to being able to meet a master like Su Chen. Perhaps, the day for our Zhangyi Hall to take off has come. By the way, clean up this place. Then send people to take over the Black Dragon Society's territory." The 4 generals under He Zhenlong, Along, Ahu, and Alang, all died here. There is also Aishi who is a master, so be careful. A group of younger brothers nodded and got busy. Su Chen hugged Zhou Wanqiu, whose face was burning, and stepped out of the Black Dragon Society manor. At this time, a shout rang out. "Su Chen, did you rescue Wanqiu?" Su Chen turned around and saw a woman hiding in the corner. It was Zhou Wanqiu's best friend, Guan Qingqing. Su Chen was worried that Zhou Wanqiu would get into trouble and it would be inconvenient for him to take care of her. So, when he rushed to the villa, he sent the location to Guan Qingqing. "Yeah." Su Chen nodded. Guan Qingqing was overjoyed and said, "Great. Grandpa Zhao and Uncle Zhao will probably arrive in a while. Let's wait for a while." "Can't wait." Su Chen frowned. "Look at her." Guan Qingqing looked over. Zhou Wanqiu's skin was burning hot, her face was red, and her whole body was leaning towards Su Chen. "What's wrong with her?" Su Chen said. "She was infected with a very strong spring poison." "What?" Guan Qingqing was shocked and scared. "I heard that this kind of poison must be used like a man, otherwise, it may damage the female reproductive system." Su Chen said, "Don't talk about it first. Drive first and take us to find a hotel. Otherwise, her spring poison will completely break out in a while." Guan Qingqing stopped talking and quickly drove Su Chen to find the nearest hotel. After checking in, Su Chen put Zhou Wanqiu on the bed. At this moment, Zhou Wanqiu seemed to be awakened. The whole person sat up, his eyes were blurred, but he kept muttering, I want. Guan Qingqing was startled. "Wanqiu, don't scare me. What do you want?" "Man. I want a man." Zhou Wanqiu seemed to see Su Chen on the side and rushed over. Su Chen was stunned and quickly held Zhou Wanqiu down. Looking at Guan Qingqing, "Isn't she a lesbian? Why does she want a man?" Guan Qingqing looked embarrassed and explained, "She lied to you. She pretended to be a lesbian to drive you away." Damn. Su Chen couldn't help but burst out a swear word. "Su Chen, don't be angry. You should detoxify Wanqiu. If you don't detoxify, she won't be able to bear it. I won't bother you anymore." After saying that, Guan Qingqing opened the door and ran out. Damn. Am I the only one who can sacrifice this time? Su Chen said helplessly. Turning his head, he saw Zhou Wanqiu's eyes were red and her clothes were messy. When she saw Su Chen, she rushed towards Su Chen in a hurry, as if she saw prey. "I want it. Give it to me." Seeing this, Su Chen gritted his teeth and said, "Come on." Chapter 14 What's wrong with you? Zhou Wanqiu rushed towards Su Chen. Su Chen hugged Zhou Wanqiu without hesitation. When Zhou Wanqiu's hand was about to touch Su Chen's body, Su Chen backhanded and poked Zhou Wanqiu. Nina. Zhou Wanqiu fainted in Su Chen's arms. Su Chen walked to the bathroom in the room, took down the shower head, and filled the bathtub with water. Then, he stepped out. He opened the door. Outside the door, Guan Qingqing, who was lying on the door to eavesdrop, fell directly in. Su Chen reached out to support her. A trace of embarrassment flashed across Guan Qingqing's face. Then, she looked at Su Chen in shock. "Su Chen, are you done?" Guan Qingqing's eyes swept Su Chen up and down, very puzzled. This Su Chen looks quite strong, and it is said that he is a countryman. How come it's so fast? Seeing Guan Qingqing's slightly contemptuous and inquiring eyes, Su Chen said unhappily, "What end?" I haven't started yet. Do me a favor. What? I help? Guan Qingqing was shocked. How can I help you with this? You don't want me to help you push it from behind. Are you so lazy? Su Chen? These women, what are they thinking about every day? I want you to borrow a knife for me. Who knew you could run so fast? Su Chen said. Oh. Guan Qingqing raised her head and asked again. What do you want to borrow a knife for? Borrow a knife to bleed. Ah. Bullshit. Go. Su Chen felt that this sister was dizzy. Guan Qingqing hurriedly trotted to the front desk and borrowed a knife. Su Chen first roasted the knife with fire to disinfect it. Then he cut his wrist. Suddenly, a stream of blood flowed out. Ah! Guan Qingqing screamed out. What are you talking about? I didn't bleed you. Su Chen looked helpless. Guan Qingqing asked, why did you cut your wrist? Save someone. Su Chen didn't bother to pay attention to Guan Qingqing and directly handed his wrist to Zhou Wanqiu's mouth. Blood flowed into Zhou Wanqiu's mouth. Zhou Wanqiu sucked a few mouthfuls as if he had encountered some delicious food. Okay, just 2 sips are enough. How come you are addicted? Su Chen quickly retracted his wrist. With a flick of his hand, the bleeding stopped. He grew up under the nourishment of various medicinal herbs, medicinal baths, and medicinal wines. The blood in his body is a treasure. Even if it is just a little bit, it is comparable to many precious medicinal herbs. The detoxification ability is even more amazing. Giving Zhou Wanqiu these 2 sips will definitely be enough for her to detoxify. Guan Qingqing was standing aside, stunned. Su Chen, didn't you say that you have to do it like a man? Is the effect of your blood and that thing the same? Su Chen glanced at Guan Qingqing and didn't bother to pay attention to her. This woman is like a curious baby. She doesn't understand anything. She just knows how to guess. Don't worry about it, okay? Su Chen said. Help me open the door. I'll put her in the bathtub. Guan Qingqing didn't ask any more questions this time and quickly opened the bathroom door. Su Chen picked up Zhou Wanqiu and put her in the bathtub. Zhou Wanqiu's clothes were all soaked and stuck to her body, which was quite tempting. Do you want me to help her take them off? Guan Qingqing asked. No. Su Chen said. He took out the silver needle and pierced Zhou Wanqiu's body. Soon, a thread of pink liquid slowly flowed out along Su Chen's silver needle. The water in the entire bathtub slowly turned pink. The redness on Zhou Wanqiu's skin slowly faded, and the whole person slowly became energetic. Su Chen drained the water and replaced it with a new one. Slowly, the water in the bathtub also lost its color. Su Chen nodded. It's okay. After that, he pulled the needle out of Zhou Wanqiu's body and carried her back to the bed. Okay, you change her clothes. After Su Chen finished speaking, he turned around and left. Soon, Guan Qingqing had wiped Zhou Wanqiu clean and changed into a bathrobe. I've cleaned up Wanqiu. But why hasn't she woken up yet? Guan Qingqing asked. Su Chen explained. That kind of medicine catalyzes the spirit and emotions, and coupled with the panic at the time, it still consumed her spirit a lot. Now, I can wake her up directly. But I think it would be better to let her sleep a little longer and wait for her to wake up naturally later. Guan Qingqing nodded. Then I'll take this time to buy 2 new clothes for Wanqiu. I know her size best. Su Chen nodded. Guan Qingqing just walked out and suddenly stepped back. Hey, you won't take advantage of Wanqiu while I'm away? Guan Qingqing asked with a vigilant look. Su Chen rolled his eyes and asked back, then wouldn't it be better if I slept with her directly just now? That's right. Guan Qingqing suddenly realized and smiled apologetically. Sorry, forgive me. As he said this, he ran away quickly. Su Chen was a little speechless. These city women have strange thoughts. In the mountain village, the widow sister-in-law Liu Mian is considerate. No, she is considerate. Turning his head, Su Chen looked at Zhou Wanqiu lying on the bed. This woman, in order not to complete the marriage with me, actually said that she is a lesbian. It's so funny. If grandpa hadn't made me stay with you, I wouldn't bother to care about you. When I was in the village, I don't know how many girls secretly went to see me under the pretext of seeing a doctor. Su Chen muttered. At this moment, Zhou Wanqiu on the bed suddenly frowned and began to struggle. It seems to be a nightmare. I guess the scene of being bullied is still replaying in my mind. Su Chen said secretly. After a while, Zhou Wanqiu frowned and moved more. Su Chen thought about it and felt that he still had to wake Zhou Wanqiu up so as not to scare her into having any sequelae. Su Chen stepped forward and used his index finger and middle finger to tap Zhou Wanqiu's head. Soon, Zhou Wanqiu woke up slowly. She opened her eyes, and what caught her eye was a man's face. Ah! Zhou Wanqiu screamed, and then slapped him hard. Pa! Su Chen was trying to wake her up, but was attacked by her unexpectedly. He couldn't dodge in time, and was hit directly. Although it didn't hurt much, it was very frustrating. Are you sick? Su Chen took a step back and said angrily. If Zhou Wanqiu was not a woman, not the granddaughter of Mr. Zhou Wanqiu, he would have slapped her long ago. When Zhou Wanqiu saw that the person in front of her was Su Chen, she was stunned. Su Chen, why is it you? Zhou Wanqiu noticed something wrong with her body before she finished speaking. She looked down and found that all her clothes had been changed. Even the underwear had been taken off. Could it be that she had been? Ah! Su Chen, you bastard. You took advantage of me. Zhou Wanqiu screamed out. Su Chen was confused. When did I take advantage of you? At this time, Zhou Wanqiu didn't care about these things. She grabbed the things on the bed and rushed towards Su Chen. Pillows, pillowcases, even Zhou Wanqiu's underwear. You bastard. Get out of here. Zhou Wanqiu was furious. Su Chen was in pain and had to go out first. Woo woo woo. Seeing Su Chen go out, Zhou Wanqiu suddenly buried her head in the quilt and cried, as if she had suffered a great injustice. And Su Chen walked out of the door with a depressed face. This fucking saved someone, but didn't get any benefits, but was scolded by someone. What's this? Su Chen thought that there was nothing to do here anyway, so he left directly. In the room, Zhou Wanqiu was still crying. The door suddenly opened. It was Guan Qingqing who came back from shopping. Where is Su Chen? Guan Qingqing asked. Zhou Wanqiu raised her head. Her eyes were a little red and swollen from crying. Qingqing, why are you here? Su Chen, that bastard, took advantage of me. Zhou Wanqiu cried. Guan Qingqing was stunned and said, that's impossible. If he wanted to take advantage of you, he could have taken advantage of you openly when he helped you get rid of the spring poison. Why wait until now? Zhou Wanqiu said, look at my clothes. All of them have been changed. How could he not take advantage of me? Huh? Guan Qingqing laughed. You're talking about this. I changed all your clothes. Zhou Wanqiu was stunned. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15. Dad, you are so insidious. Then, Guan Qingqing described the whole process. From Su Chen carrying Zhou Wanqiu out, to finding a hotel to detoxify, until she went out to buy clothes for Zhou Wanqiu. The tears on Zhou Wanqiu's face stopped. You mean, I wasn't violated? Zhou Wanqiu looked unbelievable. The bumpkin she had always hated not only saved her, but also detoxified her. In the end, she slapped him. At this moment, Zhou Wanqiu felt her face burning. She wanted to call Su Chen to apologize right now, but she felt a little embarrassed. Wanqiu, I think Su Chen is a good person. Although he feels a little weird, he is still a good person. By the way, where did he go? Guan Qingqing asked. Zhou Wanqiu was a little embarrassed. She was embarrassed to say that she drove Su Chen away. Well, he saw that I was fine, so he left first. Zhou Wanqiu said embarrassedly. Guan Qingqing was stunned. She felt a little strange, but she didn't think about it. Well, maybe he thought you were awake, and it would be inconvenient for him to stay here. Wanqiu, I bought you clothes. Put them on. Grandpa Zhou and Uncle Zhou will be here soon. Guan Qingqing said. My grandpa and others are coming. I'll change my clothes. Zhou Wanqiu quickly changed her clothes. Guan Qingqing was worthy of being Zhou Wanqiu's best friend. The clothes she bought were well-fitting and well-matched. The key is that they were not much different from the original ones. Most people would not notice that Zhou Wanqiu had changed her clothes. Soon, Zhou Wanqiu, Zhou Pingjiang and Zhao Girang arrived. The three were very excited when they saw Zhou Wanqiu. When they first learned that Zhou Wanqiu was arrested, the three were terrified. Now that they saw that Zhou Wanqiu was fine, they were finally relieved. The family took a car back. When they returned home, Zhou Wanqiu began to ask Zhou Wanqiu about the whole story. When they heard that He Junhe had attacked Zhou Wanqiu, Zhou Wanqiu was furious. The He family is still so shameless. Isn't it just for a bid for a new factory of Xianheo Group? Is it necessary to use such a dirty trick? In this case, our Zhou family must compete with them. Qin Wentian's bid for Xianheo Group, our Zhou family will also order it. Zhou Pingjiang's face was also ugly. He said, yes, we must compete head on with the He family once. I'll call Wu Yiki now. His company has some cooperation with Qin's Xianheo Group. I heard that the Qin family is going to hold a business reception tomorrow. I'll ask him if he can help us get an invitation to the reception. In this way, we can get in touch with the Qin family. Hearing the name Wu Yiki, Zhou Wanqiu frowned. He asked, Wu Yiki? Is he your sworn brother? Recently, hasn't he stopped associating with you? Zhou Pingjiang's face dimmed. Wu Yiki is his sworn brother, and it turns out that the relationship between the two is pretty good. But a year ago, Wu Yiki suddenly proposed that his son Wu Ringxing and Zhou Wanqiu should date and get married. As a result, not only Zhou Wanqiu opposed it, but Zhou Wanqiu also opposed it. The matter was left unresolved. Since then, Wu Yiki has ridiculed Zhou Pingjiang several times, and the relationship between the two has gradually become distant. Yeah. Dad, will Uncle Wu agree? Zhou Wanqiu also looked worried. Zhou Pingjiang gritted his teeth and said, I'll try. We have been good brothers for many years, and we shouldn't fall out over such a small matter. Besides, if we don't rely on him, no one else around us knows Qin Wentian. Zhou Wanqiu fell silent. If she knew that Su Chen was very familiar with Qin Wentian and Qin Yao, I wonder what she would think. Zhou Pingjiang immediately called Wu Yiki. The call was quickly connected. Hey, brother Zhou, when did you remember to call me? Wu Yiki's voice was full of ridicule. Zhou Pingjiang smiled awkwardly and said, I just miss you, brother. After chatting awkwardly for a long time, Zhou Pingjiang finally got to the point. Brother, I have something to trouble you. I know that you have a cooperation with Qin's Xianheo Group. Can you help me get a few invitations for Qin's business reception tomorrow? Zhou Pingjiang was very humble. Wu Yiki on the opposite side laughed and said, of course, no problem. You are my brother. Hey. Thank you, brother. I will definitely reward you handsomely later. Brother, you are too polite. The two hung up the phone. In the Wu family villa, Wu Yiki, a short man, put down the phone. He sneered, stupid. You still want an invitation to the Qin family reception? Don't think I don't know that you want to get the bid for the new factory of Xianheo Group. Dream on. Opposite Wu Yiki sat a young man with a pock-marked face, who was his son Wu Ringxing. Dad, who is it? Wu Ringxing asked. Wu Yiki pouted and said, Zhou Pingjiang. Zhou Wanqiu's father? Wu Ringxing screamed. What does he want to talk to you about? Why don't you take this opportunity to bring up my marriage with Zhou Wanqiu? This is a good opportunity. Zhou Wanqiu is so beautiful. You only care about beauty. How can someone like you? Wu Yiki scolded. Wu Ringxing was scolded so much that he dared not speak. Wu Yiki continued, this old man called to get the invitation to the Qin family's cocktail party through me, then get close to the Qin family and get the canteen bid for the new factory of Xianheo Group. However, this business is about to be won by his catering, and the Zhou family has no hope. Wu Ringxing asked, then why don't you just say it directly? Are you stupid? Wu Yiki scolded, if I tell him directly, will he still owe me a favor? Wait a few days, I will tell him how much money I spent on so and so for him. In the end, all these accounts will be charged to him. Isn't it good? Wu Ringxing raised his thumb and said casually, Dad, you are really an old scoundrel. What the hell? Wu Yiki was stunned. Fuck you. Who said that to your dad? He kicked Wu Ringxing and started beating him. A scream suddenly came from the Wu family villa. On the other side, at the Zhou family villa, after Zhou Pingjiang hung up the phone, The three grandfathers and grandchildren all breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, we've done what we can. Whether we can go to the Qin family's business reception depends on fate, Zhao Pingjiang said. At this time, Zhou Wanqiu asked, by the way, Zhou Wanqiu, where is Su Chen? Zhou Wanqiu trembled when she heard this question. What's wrong? Zhou Wanqiu saw that Zhou Wanqiu was abnormal. Zhou Wanqiu lowered her head and stammered, Su Chen, I beat him away. What? Zhou Wanqiu was furious. What happened? Tell me clearly. On the side, Zhao Pingjiang quickly advised, Dad, don't be anxious, don't scare Zhou Wanqiu. Let her talk slowly. Zhou Wanqiu suppressed his anger. Zhou Wanqiu timidly told her what happened after she woke up. At the same time, she also told her father and grandfather what her best friend Guan Qingqing told her. Bang! Zhou Wanqiu slapped the table. He said angrily, Wanqiu, you are too outrageous. Su Chen saved you and helped you detoxify, but you beat him and scolded him. Did I teach you to be like this? Zhao Pingjiang quickly persuaded, Dad, calm down. I guess Wanqiu just woke up and didn't understand the situation. Zhao Wanqiu's eyes were red and she whispered in defense, I know I was wrong, Grandpa. What's the use of you telling me? Call Su Chen and apologize to him. Zhou Wanqiu said angrily. Okay. Zhou Wanqiu nodded. She quickly took out her mobile phone and called Su Chen. Chapter 16 I want to compete with Zhou Wanqiu. The call was connected. Hello, what's wrong? Su Chen's voice came from the other side. Zhou Wanqiu felt angry when he heard this voice. But seeing the look in his grandfather's eyes, Zhou Wanqiu hurriedly said, Su Chen, I want to say sorry to you. You saved me, but I scolded and beat you. Sorry. I just woke up and was too flustered, so I was a little emotional. Sorry. Su Chen was stunned when he heard Zhou Wanqiu's apology. However, he soon figured it out. It must be Guan Qingqing who told her the whole process. Okay, I forgive you, Su Chen said lightly. Zhou Wanqiu curled his lips. Is this the attitude of forgiving people? So perfunctory. At this time, Zhao Pingjiang whispered to remind him. Ask him how he rescued you from the Black Dragon Society? Zhou Wanqiu nodded and said, Su Chen, the Black Dragon Society is so powerful, how did you rescue me from it? Another underground force in Bincheng, Zhang happened to raid the Black Dragon Society today, and the two sides fought. I took the opportunity to rescue you. Su Chen said the script that had been decided long ago. Zhou Wanqiu suddenly realized, so it was Zhang. Why? Su Chen's tone was a little joking. Are you disappointed to hear that it wasn't me who killed everyone? No, I'm still very grateful to you. Zhou Wanqiu blushed and said something insincere. To be honest, although she didn't quite believe that Su Chen could kill everyone in the Black Dragon Society and rescue her, but as a woman, she has a dream of being a night princess. Now, Su Chen's words proved that he was indeed not the knight who rushed into the magic cave to rescue the princess, but more like a sneaky thief. Okay, I've apologized. I'm hanging up first. After saying that, Zhou Wanqiu hung up the phone directly. Zhou Wanqiu blew his beard and glared. You apologize like this? There is no sincerity at all. Okay, Dad. Zhao Pingjiang tried to smooth things over. Wanqiu's character is good enough for her to bow her head. Besides, Su Chen has forgiven her. Zhou Wanqiu didn't say anything else. Zhou Wanqiu said, I told you. It wasn't Su Chen who saved me. He was just lucky and caught up with the fight between Zhang and Black Dragon Society. In the final analysis, he is just a village doctor who knows some folk remedies. Hearing this, Zhou Wanqiu's anger immediately burned up again. What little doctor? Your grandfather. I was saved by his grandfather. Your father was rescued by someone who came to the city. Today, you were rescued by someone else. Su Chen is a big doctor or a small doctor, what's the difference? His kindness is here. Look at you. What kind of attitude is this? Zhou Wanqiu's face fell. She knew she had said the wrong thing again. I'm sorry, Grandpa, I was wrong. Zhao Pingjiang was also helpless on the side. He understood that his daughter might not have much opinion on Su Chen, but she was disgusted with this forced marriage. On the other side, Su Chen, who hung up the phone, also looked helpless. He could hear that Zhou Wanqiu's apology was not very sincere. Moreover, she was still very resistant to him. Ah. Grandpa. What's the benefit of being with Zhou Wanqiu? I have to stay for another year. It's so hard for me. Where are you now? Just call me. If Haochu is not big, I really don't want it. It's too hard to serve. Just when Su Chen was in pain, his cell phone rang again. Benefactor Kinyao's unique milky voice came. Have you solved the problem of the Black Dragon Society? Su Chen said, it has been solved. Sorry to bother you today, Miss Qin. Don't be so polite to others. I just like to do things with you. Kinyao took a deep breath. Su Chen hurriedly said, okay, Miss Qin, I'll hang up first. If there's nothing else. Okay. I'll pick you up tomorrow. See you at the old place. The old place? Su Chen was stunned and then realized that the old place Kinyao was talking about should be the intersection where he was picked up today. By the way, there is one more very important thing. Don't forget to do it today. Kinyao said. Su Chen looked puzzled. What's the matter? Kinyao smiled and said, miss me. Mua. Then, the phone was hung up. Su Chen couldn't help but smile bitterly. What a goblin. This Kinyao seemed to be addicted to teasing herself. It seems that I have to be more careful in the future. I don't know what will happen if Zhou Wanqiu encounters her. On the other side, Kinyao hung up the phone and Qin Wentian came over. How is it? Did he thank you? Kinyao smiled and said, thank you. My benefactor is not the kind of person who doesn't know manners. Did he mention Chen Zhangyi from Zhangyi Hall? Qin Wentian asked. Kinyao was startled. No. What happened? Qin Wentian said, just now, I received news that Zhen Long of the Black Dragon Society is dead, and he died in his own lair. Even 3 of his 4 generals died, and only Ashi, who was not in the Black Dragon Society base, escaped. Kinyao asked doubtfully, did Uncle Chen of Zhangyi Hall do it? The news release now says that Zhangyi Hall attacked the Black Dragon Society and wiped out the main force of the Black Dragon Society. But when I called Chen Zhangyi today, he didn't have this plan at all. Moreover, with the strength of Zhangyi Hall, it is impossible to do it so cleanly. Otherwise, they would not be suppressed by the Black Dragon Society. So, I wonder if it is because of Su Chen. Qin Wentian analyzed it and said his own conclusion. Su Chen? Is my benefactor so powerful? Kinyao jumped up excitedly, holding her chest with her little hand. Dad, can't you just call Uncle Chen and ask him? Yeah. Qin Wentian nodded and called Chen Zhangyi directly. The call was connected. Hello, Brother Qin. Chen Zhangyi's voice was very excited. The destruction of the Black Dragon Society brought him a lot of benefits. Qin Wentian didn't beat around the bush. Brother Chen, tell me the truth. What's going on with the Black Dragon Society? Chen Zhangyi was stunned, and after a moment of silence, he said, I knew that the news could fool others, but not you. After all, I brought people to the Black Dragon Society because of the news you gave me. But fortunately, it's okay for you to know the truth. Just don't tell anyone. Then, Chen Zhangyi told him what he saw at the Black Dragon Society. After hanging up the phone, Qin Wentian was a little stunned. He couldn't imagine that a young man like Su Chen could directly destroy the Black Dragon Society. And Kinyao was so excited that she wanted to jump up. Wow. So handsome. My benefactor broke into the Black Dragon Society alone, killed everyone, and came out holding the woman. This is the prince slaying the dragon and saving the princess. I love brother Su Chen so much. It's a pity that the woman is not me. Kinyao was excited and regretful at the same time. Qin Wentian said, it seems that you are right, my daughter. It is indeed the right choice to make Su Chen our important guest at the business reception tomorrow. Moreover, we have to raise our evaluation of Su Chen to another level. Kinyao said proudly, huh, when did I miss your daughter's vision? By the way, Dad, I want to invite a few more people tomorrow. Who? Qin Wentian asked. Kinyao said, it's the woman that Su Chen rescued. I want to see with my own eyes how this woman rescued by Su Chen compares to me. Qin Wentian smiled. No problem. I heard that Su Chen works at Zhao's catering group. We can invite them all. In the future, we have to pay more attention to the Zhou family. Qin Yao smiled and said, okay. Then I'll get 3 invitations now and send them to them immediately. She quickly arranged everything. At this time, a thought flashed through Qin Yao's mind. Humph. Zhou Wanqiu, tomorrow I'm going to see if there's anything about you that's worthy of my rescue. Chapter 17. Poor Wu Rinxing. Zhao's villa. The Qin family is very quick to act. Before Su Chen got home, Qin Yao's invitation had already arrived. When Zhao Girang handed 3 invitations to Zhou Rongchang and the other 2, they were all stunned. Haha. I said that old Wu wouldn't bear grudges. How long has it been? Look. The invitations have been delivered. Zhao Pingjiang was excited. Zhou Rongchang also smiled and nodded. Zhou Wanqiu said apologetically, I thought Uncle Wu wouldn't help us. Haha, we are sworn brothers. How could he bear grudges for this? Zhao Pingjiang was very happy. I'll call him and thank him. As he spoke, Zhao Pingjiang directly dialed Wu Yiqi's cell phone. When Wu Yiqi saw Zhao Pingjiang calling, he thought he was going to urge him, and he immediately felt annoyed. Brother, thank you. I have received the invitation to the Qin family's business cocktail party. Thank you so much. Zhao Pingjiang's first sentence directly stunned Wu Yiqi. However, he reacted quickly. Brother Zhao, did you receive it? I just told them a little bit. I didn't expect them to act so quickly. I'm glad you received it. Don't worry, I'll also speak well of you for the bid for the new factory of Qin's Xianhao Group. Wu Yiqi accepted the credit very naturally. Zhao Pingjiang was very excited. Okay. Brother, I don't need to thank you for your kindness. I'll meet you for a drink later. The two exchanged pleasantries and hung up the phone. Wu Yiqi looked puzzled. The Zhao family actually received an invitation to the Qin family's business cocktail party. What's going on? Wu Rinxing said on the side. Does the Qin family also know that Zhou Wanqiu is beautiful and want to marry her? Bang. Wu Yiqi slapped Wu Rinxing on the head. Pretty? You only know Zhou Wanqiu is pretty. Do you know that Qin Wentian of the Qin family has only one daughter, Qin Yao? Marry Zhou Wanqiu? Marry her for what? Are you two going to fight? Wu Rinxing rubbed his head with a bitter look on his face and argued. Maybe Qin Wentian wants to marry her. Fuck you. Wu Yiqi kicked Wu Rinxing down directly. Qin Yao's mother has been dead for more than 10 years. If Qin Wentian wanted to marry her, he would have married her long ago. Can you pay more attention to the business community in Bincheng? Then Dad, why did Qin Wentian invite the Zhao family? Wu Rinxing asked with a sad face. Wu Yiqi frowned slightly. Maybe Qin Wentian wanted to put some pressure on the He's Catering Group. After all, even if he really prefers the He's Catering Group, he will bargain. Choosing this time to pull the Zhao family to the Qin family's business reception is to make it easier to lower the price. Anyway, no matter what, I got this favor for nothing. Wu Yiqi analyzed confidently. Wow. Dad, you are amazing. You figured this out. Wu Rinxing flattered. Wu Yiqi sneered. Do you think I'm like you? I only know how to eat, drink, gamble and whore every day. I only go to nightclubs and sleep with women. I don't learn any business knowledge and I don't pay attention to any news. Wu Yiqi became angrier and angrier. Finally, he pulled out the 7 wolves belt and hit Wu Rinxing. Wu Rinxing's screams rang out again in the Wu family villa. The hall of the Zhao family villa. The 3 were very excited. My sworn brother is actually not bad. Zhao Pingjiang laughed. Zhou Rongchang and Zhou Wanqiu were also very excited. Zhou Rongchang laughed. Since there are 3 invitations, then tomorrow night, you and your daughter will take Su Chen there. Zhou Wanqiu and Zhao Pingjiang were stunned when he said this. Dad, you are not going? Isn't it a bit inappropriate to take Su Chen? Zhao Pingjiang was a little disgusted. Zhou Rongchang said, Zhou Chen came to Bincheng. He must see what the upper class is like. You take him to broaden his horizons. Zhou Wanqiu hurriedly said, Grandpa, the Qin family gave us 3 invitations. They must want us 3 to go. Su Chen is just a country boy. He doesn't know how to do business. Why would he go to the Qin family's business reception? Zhou Rongchang glared. Can't Zhou Chen go and learn? Zhou Wanqiu didn't dare to speak and looked at Zhao Pingjiang for help. Zhao Pingjiang hurriedly advised, Dad, it's not that we don't want Zhou Chen to go, but this opportunity is too important to our Zhao family. Although Zhou Chen is a great doctor, he has a bad temper. In that occasion, if he loses his temper and offends some big shot, it won't be good for him or our Zhao family. Zhou Wanqiu wanted to insist, but what Zhao Pingjiang said made sense. Oh, let's wait until next time. Zhou Wanqiu sighed. Zhou Wanqiu and Zhao Pingjiang looked at each other and smiled happily. Not long after, Su Chen's figure appeared at the door. Seeing Su Chen, Zhou Wanqiu hurried forward. Wanqiu, go over. Apologize to Su Chen in person again. Zhou Wanqiu secretly rolled her eyes, but had to go over. I'm sorry, Su Chen, I shouldn't hit you or scold you. Zhou Wanqiu pouted. Su Chen said, you have already apologized, no need to repeat it. Zhou Wanqiu said, not enough. I still have to thank you. Zhou Wanqiu had to bow his head again and said, thank you for saving me and helping me detoxify. Su Chen also saw that Zhou Wanqiu was not sincere. He nodded directly and walked towards Grandpa Zhao. Zhou Wanqiu curled his lips. Why are you so proud? You just know some folk remedies in the countryside. It's not you who killed He Zhenlong and He Junying. Humph. Soon, Zhao Giran prepared dinner. The family finished their meal in a cheerful and relaxed atmosphere. When they went to bed at night, Su Chen still slept on the floor in his corner. Zhou Wanqiu on the bed had long forgotten that she regretted not sleeping with Su Chen when she was almost defiled by He Junying today. The next morning, the whole family had breakfast. Zhou Wanqiu drove Su Chen to work as usual. Before leaving, old man Zhou Wanqiu reminded again, Wanqiu, you were delayed yesterday. Don't forget to get the marriage certificate with Su Chen today. Zhou Wanqiu was suddenly irritated. He stepped on the accelerator and increased the speed again. Along the way, Zhou Wanqiu ignored Su Chen. But Su Chen thought it was better this way and he would be more peaceful. Still in the corner downstairs of Zhao's catering group, Zhou Wanqiu put Su Chen down. Then, he stepped on the accelerator and drove away. Su Chen didn't care. He regarded this trip to Bincheng as an experience of life, and his mentality became much more open. He was prepared to occasionally help the Zhao family solve some problems for Zhou Wanqiu's sake. For other things, he would just let it go. As for Zhou Wanqiu, he would just live like this for now, and when he got news from his grandfather, he would make the next plan. Su Chen stepped into the group and arrived at the secretariat office. As soon as he entered the door, Zhang Yu and others stood up and bowed. Brother Chen, good morning. This scene scared Su Chen. It seems that Zhang Yu and his friends have completely let themselves go after Zhou Wanqiu discovered their rebellion. What are you doing? Su Chen asked. Silver-haired killer Zhang Yu laughed and said, yesterday, we witnessed Brother Chen's martial arts value, and also saw Brother Chen's cultural level in the quarrel between me and my game teammates. Brother Chen is both civil and military, and he deserves to be our big brother. Fatty Liu Pan also laughed obscenely and said, yes. Zhang Yu told us that Brother Chen, you used the sentence my girlfriend wants it to directly spray Zhang Yu and his teammates into autism. He, Xian Yang and Su Jiao also joined in the fun, constantly shouting hello to the big brother. Su Chen was speechless. These guys are really bored. Okay, go back and work hard. I was deducted half a month's salary yesterday. When President Zhao sees you like this, he will have to deduct the second half of my salary. Su Chen said. Zhou Wanqiu's power is still quite strong. These guys immediately returned to their seats obediently. In the afternoon, Zhang Yu was bored and ran to Su Chen's workstation to chat with him. Liu Pan, Xian Yang and Su Jiao also came over. Su Chen was also happy to learn about Zhao Group and Bincheng through them. At this time, an unexpected person came to the secretariat office. Chapter 18 The big shot turned out to be Su Chen. The person who came was none other than Zhou Wanqiu. At this time, Zhang Yu was still standing in front of Su Chen's desk, gesticulating and talking about company gossip. Su Chen quickly winked at him. Brother Chen, what do you want me to see? Zhang Yu said as he turned around. As a result, he saw Zhou Wanqiu standing at the door with a frosty face. Zhang Yu and his friends quickly stuck out their tongues and hurried back to their positions. Since they were found out about their betrayal by Zhou Wanqiu, these guys were a little afraid to face Zhou Wanqiu. Zhou Wanqiu at the door had a furious look on her face. Originally, she was upset because her grandfather asked her to get a marriage certificate with Su Chen. But when she went to the secretariat office, she saw that all the younger brothers she used to mess with Su Chen were happy to call him Brother Chen. Brother Chen. This made her even more furious. Su Chen, come out with me, Zhou Wanqiu said coldly. Zhang Yu and others looked at Su Chen with sympathy. However, Su Chen had a calm expression and followed him out. Zhou Wanqiu didn't say anything either. She walked forward with her high heels and twisted her waist. Su Chen could only follow silently. The two walked to a corner and Zhou Wanqiu turned around. On her delicate face, there was a hint of sarcasm. It seems that you are quite popular. Thank you for the compliment. Su Chen smiled. Zhou Wanqiu was almost hurt. Humph. She snorted coldly and took out 2 red books. 2 marriage certificates. Marriage certificate? Su Chen was stunned. He had never been to the Civil Affairs Bureau. When did he get the marriage certificate? Fake. Zhou Wanqiu said. I asked someone to forge it. As long as you don't deliberately reveal it, Grandpa won't find out. You won't deliberately reveal it just to marry me, right? Zhou Wanqiu said provocatively. Of course not. Fake is better. Su Chen said. He didn't like Zhou Wanqiu too much. Although this woman is beautiful, she is arrogant, self-righteous, and has a bad personality. It can be said that except for her appearance, she has nothing good. Su Chen felt that instead of marrying her, he might as well go back to the village and marry the widow sister-in-law Liu Mian. Seeing Su Chen agreed decisively, Zhou Wanqiu breathed a sigh of relief, but she was also a little annoyed. You agreed so readily, what does it mean? Zhou Wanqiu took out 200 yuan, handed it to Su Chen, and said, there is one more thing. You can take a taxi home after get off work. My father, grandfather and I are going to attend a very important business reception, and now we have to go home to prepare. But Su Chen did not take the money. No need. I also have an appointment with a friend tonight. Please tell Aunt Zhao that you don't have to cook for me. Whatever you want. Zhou Wanqiu curled her lips and took the money back. She didn't believe that Su Chen, a country bumpkin, could have any friends in Bincheng. Su Chen said he had an appointment with a friend, probably because of his self-esteem. Zhou Wanqiu turned and left. Su Chen returned to the secretariat office. Zhang Yu and others immediately surrounded him. Brother Chen, what happened? Why did Sister Qiu want to see you? Su Chen glanced at Zhang Yu, who looked gossipy, and said, show me a marriage certificate. Zhang Yu rolled his eyes and said exaggeratedly, it's over. Brother Chen is talking nonsense. This is another man who was bewitched by Sister Qiu. Su Chen smiled. When he told the truth, no one believed him. When it was almost time to get off work, Su Chen's phone rang. Excuse me, is this the benefactor Su Chen, who is loved by everyone? Flowers bloom when he sees them, and tires burst when cars see him? Qin Yao's soft voice sounded. Su Chen almost got goosebumps and could only respond, yeah. See you at the old place in 10 minutes. Muah. Then, he hung up the phone. Su Chen smiled helplessly. Looking at the time, he said hello to Zhang Yu and others and left. Sure enough, at the same location downstairs of the group, he saw the fiery red Ferrari sports car again. My benefactor, please get in the car. The car window slid down, revealing a stunning face. It was Qin Yao. Su Chen got in the car. Along the way, Qin Yao was like an excited little bird, chirping non-stop. Since she knew yesterday that Su Chen destroyed the Black Dragon Society alone, her admiration for Su Chen reached its peak. Soon, the car arrived at a Qin family villa. At this time, many luxury cars were parked on the street at the gate. The garden was also decorated with colorful lights and strips, and various self-service drinks and food. Businessmen and women in suits and ties walked around with wine glasses in their hands, socializing. Qin Yao's Ferrari drove straight in. Countless people looked over. They all recognized that this was Qin Yao's Ferrari. Zhou Wanqiu and his son and Zhou Wanqiu also saw this scene. Look, that's Qin Yao, Qin Wentian's only daughter. Wanqiu, if you can make friends with her, it will definitely be a great benefit for our Zhou family to get this business. Zhou Pingjiang said. Zhou Wanqiu watched the red Ferrari slowly passing by. She always felt that she had seen this car somewhere. When she saw Su Chen in the passenger seat, she was suddenly stunned. Dad, Grandpa, look. How come the person in the passenger seat looks a bit like Su Chen? Zhou Wanqiu asked in confusion. Zhou Wanqiu and Zhao Pingjiang looked over, and the Ferrari had already entered the garage. Zhao Pingjiang laughed and said, how is this possible? Qin Yao is the princess of the entire Bincheng business community. How could Su Chen have contact with her? Zhou Wanqiu thought about it, and it was true. How could Su Chen, a country bumpkin, know a rich lady like Qin Yao, let alone get in her car? Is he worthy? He must be dazzled. On the other side, Qin Yao took Su Chen and walked into the villa from the inner door of the garage. There were also many guests in the villa hall. Qin Yao led Su Chen to a side hall. The people here happened to be people Su Chen knew. They were Qin Wentian, Chen Zhanggai and Sun Zhangjing. Seeing Su Chen coming, Chen Zhanggai reacted the most and stood up directly. Hello, Mr. Su. Chen Zhanggai bowed slightly, respectful and polite. Seeing this scene, Qin Wentian was stunned. It seems that Su Chen's actions in the Black Dragon Society made Chen Zhanggai feel scared. Qin Wentian's respect for Su Chen increased again. Hello, Mr. Chen. Su Chen nodded, then smiled at Sun Zhangjing. Old son, you are here too. Sun Zhangjing laughed. Boskin was afraid that you didn't know anyone here, so he called the old man to chat with you. Su Chen looked at Qin Wentian and smiled. Thank you, Boskin. Mr. Su, you are too polite. Qin Wentian smiled. Let's go out. The cocktail party has begun. My daughter has prepared a surprise for you. Surprise? Su Chen was stunned and looked at Qin Yao on the side. The other party smiled at him. Qin Wentian smiled and took the lead to walk out. Su Chen and others followed him out. There was a stage in the center of the cocktail party. A burst of musical instruments sounded, and the center of the stage lit up. No matter whether it was the guests inside or outside the villa, they all gathered around at this moment. At this time, Qin Yao had already stepped onto the stage to host the cocktail party. Her witty words drew applause from the audience. Su Chen was also a little surprised. When Qin Yao was serious, she was actually a different kind of charm. At this moment, Qin Yao suddenly said, the last thing today, and the most important thing, is to recommend a big shot to everyone. He is the man that Qin Yao admires the most, the man that I'm most grateful to, and the most distinguished guest of our Qin family. All the guests were stunned and talked about it. The Qin family is actually going to push someone out of the Chamber of Commerce. Incredible. From Qin Yao's tone, it is probably a big shot with a very strong background. Even if he is not a big shot, with the Qin family as a backer, he can still call the shots in Bincheng. In the crowd, the three members of the Zhao family were also very curious. Zhao Rongchang said, Pingjiang, Wanqiu, remember the appearance of this big shot. Perhaps we can make friends with him. Yes, yes, yes. Zhao Pingjiang also nodded and said, the Qin family respects this big shot so much. If we can make friends with him, perhaps we can win the bid for the Qin family Xian Heo group. Zhao Wanqiu also looked determined. Yes, I will find a way to get the contact information of this big shot. The three of them looked at the stage with anticipation. At this time, Qin Yao looked excited and shouted, next, let us invite Su Chen. Under the spotlight, Su Chen walked onto the stage slowly with a smile and stood beside Qin Yao. Under the stage, Zhao Wanqiu and Zhao Pingjiang were stunned for a moment. This big shot is actually Su Chen. Chapter 19. Who are you? Zhao Pingjiang looked incredulous. The big shot is Su Chen? How is this possible? Didn't he just come out of the village? Zhao Pingjiang was full of question marks at this moment. Zhao Rongchang, on the other hand, was smiling. Haha. Zhou Chen is really extraordinary. He just arrived in Bincheng, and he actually got to know the Qin family. Zhao Wanqiu couldn't believe what he saw. Impossible. There must be something wrong. Zhao Rongchang looked at the reactions of the father and daughter and smiled triumphantly. At this moment, on the stage, Su Chen stood next to Qin Yao with a stiff smile on his face, enjoying the attention of everyone. And his heart was full of question marks and embarrassment. Is this the surprise Qin Wentian just mentioned? This is clearly a shock. Okay. Su Chen was not a person who liked to show off, but now he has become the focus of everyone's attention. Everyone in the audience asked what Su Chen's background was. There were all kinds of speculations and opinions. Qin Yao was smiling and was about to continue introducing Su Chen. At this time, Su Chen whispered, "No need to introduce me, I don't like these." Qin Yao was stunned, thinking to himself that it was not good. It seemed that he had done something bad with good intentions. Qin Yao reacted quickly and said, "Now, let's ask Mr. Su to go down and have a rest." Su Chen strode down. The guests under the stage were stunned. "What's going on? Didn't you say to introduce this big shot? Why did you let him go down?" Who knows? Miss Qin Yao, known as Qin Yaojing, may have deliberately teased the young man. Haha. It's really possible. I think that boy is rustic, and it's embarrassing to stand there. I guess he didn't expect Miss Qin Yao to play such a joke on him. The guests under the stage felt that this was Qin Yao's prank more and more, and they immediately laughed together. In the crowd, the three grandfathers and grandchildren of the Zhou family looked at each other. Zhou Wanqiu pouted and said, "I told you. How could Su Chen become an important guest of the Qin family? It must be Qin Yao who deliberately teased him." Zhou Ranchang was a little angry. "This Qin Yao, it's too much." Zhou Pingjiang hurriedly persuaded, "Dad, we are at the Qin family's cocktail party now. If people hear this, it's easy to cause misunderstanding. Maybe Qin Yao is really just joking." Hearing this, Zhou Ranchang's anger subsided a little. At this time, Qin Yao on the stage, although with a smile on his face, he felt a little regretful in his heart. He didn't even ask Su Chen's opinion, and took the initiative to invite him to the stage. Qin Yao said a few simple words, and went off the stage directly. She wanted to apologize to Su Chen. After Su Chen left the stage, he continued to stay with Chen Zhongyi and Sun Zhongjing. Chen Zhongyi asked curiously, "Mr. Su, did you treat Miss Qin Yao's illness?" Su Chen nodded. Suddenly, Chen Zhongyi's evaluation of Su Chen in his heart was raised several levels again. He was a good friend of Qin Wentian, so he naturally knew how much effort Qin Wentian had put into curing his daughter's illness. Even the famous Bincheng Dr. Sun Zhongjing couldn't help. In the end, Su Chen solved it. No wonder the Qin family attaches so much importance to Su Chen. "Mr. Su, you don't seem to like to be in the limelight?" Chen Zhongyi asked. Su Chen shook his head. "It's meaningless." Chen Zhongyi was even more surprised. Young people like Su Chen's age rarely do this. But on second thought, Su Chen gave up the reputation of destroying the Black Dragon Society, which shows that he really doesn't take false reputation seriously. Su Chen thought about it and said to Sun Zhongjing, "Old son, can I trouble you for a favor?" "You say." Sun Zhongjing smiled. Su Chen said, "Tell Mr. Qin that, if anyone asks about Miss Qin's illness in the future, tell them that you cured it." Sun Zhongjing was a little surprised and smiled. "You are giving me fame for nothing. Of course I have no objection." Su Chen nodded in gratitude. Although his medical skills are amazing, he is not majoring in medical skills. In addition, Su Chen is afraid of trouble. If he encounters a difficult disease, he will help him. But if his reputation spreads, all kinds of people will come to him, asking him to treat all kinds of diseases, which will be very annoying. It may even delay his practice. Soon, Qin Yao found Su Chen. She went straight forward, hugged Su Chen's arm and apologized. "My little benefactor, I'm sorry. I don't know. You don't want to be in the limelight." Looking at the coquettish Qin Yao, Su Chen said lightly, "It's okay. Are you still angry with me? Otherwise, you kiss me as a punishment?" Qin Yao said with a pout. Su Chen almost spit out a mouthful of tea. Next to him, Chen Zhongyi and Sun Zhongjing said quickly, "Well, I have to pee urgently. I'm leaving first." "Now that you say that, my bladder is about to explode." Go. The two of them slipped away directly. Su Chen looked helpless. This Qin Yao is too powerful. Even two old men who have seen the wind and rain can't stand it. Qin Yao, however, acted as if he hadn't seen it, and said with his chest puffed out, "If it still doesn't work, touch me twice." Su Chen was completely scared, and he quickly said, "I'm really not angry. I just don't like to be in the limelight." Qin Yao smiled happily. I'm glad you're not angry. At this time, Qin Wentian came over and asked, Mr. Su, what is your relationship with the Zhou family? Su Chen replied, Grandpa Zhou Wanqiu. He has an old relationship with my grandfather. Now, I live in the Zhou family and also work at the Zhou family catering group. Qin Wentian's eyes lit up and asked, I saw that the Zhou family catering group seems to be applying for the canteen bid for our Cheyenne Heo group's new factory. I want to give it to the Zhou family. What do you think? Is it okay? Su Chen asked. Qin Yao smiled and said, of course, this is a factory under my group, and my dad's words are the most effective. Of course, my words are more effective than my dad's. You speak, and I'll listen. So, you have the final say. This was very explicit. Especially, Qin Wentian was still beside him. Su Chen felt a little embarrassed. Qin Wentian smiled and said, Yao's meaning is also my meaning. Su Chen was slightly stunned. Unexpectedly, the decision-making power for the bid for the new factory of Cheyenne Heo Group, which the Zhou family and the He family were still competing for, fell into his hands. Then I will thank Mr. Qin on behalf of Grandpa Zhou. Su Chen said, but please don't say that it's because of me. Qin Wentian nodded. He has figured out Su Chen's personality. He doesn't like crowds, doesn't like to be in the limelight, and is not like an ordinary young man at all. Qin Wentian knew that he did the right thing. He sold a favor to Su Chen. During the cocktail party, Zhou Wanqiu was still anxious, looking for an opportunity to meet and chat with the Qin family. She didn't know that the new factory project of Cheyenne Heo Group that she had been thinking about had been decided by Su Chen to the Zhou family. At this time, Zhou Pingjiang happened to see Wu Yiki. He hurriedly took Zhou Wanqiu and Zhou Rongchang to find Wu Yiki to thank him. Brother Wu, thank you so much. I can come to the Qin family's business reception today, thanks to your 3 invitations. Zhou Pingjiang picked up a glass of wine and said respectfully. Although Wu Yiki felt weak in his heart, he still boasted, Brother Zhou is too polite. My cooperation with the Qin family is a deep cooperation. 3 invitations, these are all trivial matters to me. Zhou Pingjiang suddenly became more polite. Beside Wu Yiki, Wu Ringxing was also arrogant. A pair of eyes stared at Zhou Wanqiu, sweeping up and down. Zhou Wanqiu was irritated and wanted to gouge his eyes out. But at this moment, he could only hold back his anger and smile at Wu Ringxing. Wu Yiki rolled his eyes and said, Brother Zhou, you have also seen my relationship with the Qin family. To be honest, if you can let Wanqiu marry my son, it is not impossible for me to help you get the new factory project of Cheyenne Heo Group. Hearing this, Wu Ringxing's eyes suddenly lit up, and his saliva almost flowed down. Zhou Wanqiu's face changed drastically. Zhou Rongchang blew his beard and glared. Zhou Pingjiang frowned slightly. Brother Wu, for this kind of thing, it depends on the children's own wishes. Humph. Wu Yiki snorted coldly. Zhou Pingjiang, with your attitude, I got 3 invitations for you in vain. I tell you, if you don't agree, then I will go to help these catering. At that time, the new factory project of Qin's Cheyenne Heo Group will belong to the He family. Wu Yiki's words were full of threats. Suddenly, the faces of the 3 Zhou family members were extremely ugly. At this moment, a cold shout came. Who do you think you are? Can you decide the new factory project of Qin's Cheyenne Heo Group? Chapter 20 forcing Su Chen to come. Hearing this voice, Wu Yiki was furious. He turned around and cursed, I'm the Wu Group, you fucking. Before he finished speaking, he saw the appearance of the person coming. It was not someone else, but Qin Yao. For a moment, Wu Yiki was terrified and quickly changed his words. Miss Qin, I'm sorry. I said the wrong thing. Wu Yiki's face was bitter. The Zhou family looked over. They saw the graceful and beautiful Qin Yao coming towards them. At this time, Qin Yao's charming manner was restrained, and her pretty face was frosty. The whole person was like a queen sentencing a guilty minister. Wu Group is really powerful. It can decide the choice of our Qin family Cheyenne Heo Group. Qin Yao smiled. Wu Yiki was so scared that his legs trembled. Just now, he just wanted to scare the Zhou family, so he spoke without restraint. Miss Qin, I'm a bad mouth. Bang. Wu Yiki slapped himself hard. Qin Yao asked expressionlessly. You just said that you got 3 invitations for the Zhao group, right? Wu Yiki panicked. On the side, the 3 members of the Zhao family looked at him. Wu Yiki's face fell. Miss, it was Zhao Pingjiang who took the initiative to call me and thanked me for sending the invitations, so I took advantage of this favor. Zhao Pingjiang's eyes widened when he heard it. Wu Yiki, you. Qin Yao shouted coldly, a shameless person like you is not worthy of being a partner of our Qin family. Get out now. Miss, no. Wu Yiki begged for mercy. Without the cooperation of the Qin family, the business of the Wu family will be greatly impacted. Qin Yao's tone was full of coldness. If you keep talking, I will make you unable to stay in Bincheng. Do you believe it? No. Wu Yiki was startled and quickly pulled his son away. I'll get out now. I'll get out right away. Seeing this scene, the Zhao family also felt relieved. Thank you, Miss Qin. If it weren't for you, we would still be kept in the dark by Wu Yiki. Zhao Pingjiang thanked. Qin Yao smiled and said, this man has ruined the reputation of our Qin family, so it is natural that the Qin family should deal with it. Qin Yao changed the subject and said, why not let Zhao's catering do the new factory project of our SYNOPSIS group? What? The 3 members of the Zhao family were stunned for a moment. This surprise came too suddenly, right? Just treat it as a compensation. Qin Yao smiled. Why? Your Zhao family is not interested in this project? Zhao Pingjiang shook his head quickly and said, no. It's just that we can't believe it. Thank you, Miss Qin. Our Zhao's catering group will definitely live up to your trust. Qin Yao nodded. Okay. After the cocktail party is over, you can go to the side hall. Directly of the new factory of SYNOPSIS group will negotiate with you there. The grandfather and grandson of the Zhao family looked at each other, not knowing what to say. They didn't expect that they didn't do anything, and the new factory project was in their hands. After Qin Yao finished speaking, she did not leave, but walked directly to Zhou Wanqiu. The 2 looked at each other. How is your relationship with Su Chen? Qin Yao asked first. Zhou Wanqiu was stunned. She did not expect that Qin Yao would ask Su Chen. Zhou Wanqiu pondered for a moment and said directly, the relationship is average. By the way, what is your relationship with Su Chen? Zhou Wanqiu asked back. Qin Yao chuckled. Nothing, I just think he is fun and like to tease him. See you later. After saying that, Qin Yao turned and left. The 2 women did not know whether what the other said was true or false. On the side, Zhou Rongchang asked, Wanqiu, why don't you tell Qin Yao the truth? Zhou Wanqiu felt ashamed and annoyed. She and Qin Yao were both among the 4 beauties in Bincheng. Should she tell her that the man she teased today was her husband? She couldn't say such words. Why should I tell her? Zhou Wanqiu said vaguely. Zhou Rongchang sighed. He understood that Zhou Wanqiu still had some opinions about this marriage. However, he had seen their marriage certificate anyway. As for their relationship, let them get along slowly. Zhou Rongchang didn't know that the marriage certificate was just a fake certificate made by Zhou Wanqiu. Zhao Pingjiang said, Dad, Wanqiu, why did the Qin family suddenly give us the bid for the new factory of SYNOPSIS group? Zhou Rongchang frowned. Do you think it's because of Su Chen? Qin Yao just introduced Su Chen as a VIP. Before he finished speaking, Zhou Wanqiu was the first to object. Grandpa, don't attribute all the good things to Su Chen. He is just a country boy. How can he be on good terms with the Qin family? You just heard it. Qin Yao himself admitted that he just teased Su Chen because he was from the country and was more fun. Zhao Pingjiang echoed, that's right. Su Chen can't affect the Qin family's choice. Hearing the objections of the father and daughter, Zhou Rongchang couldn't refute it. Zhao Pingjiang continued to analyze. I think it may be because he's Zenshin of He's Catering has too close a relationship with the Black Dragon Society, and the Qin family is unwilling to cooperate too much with such a company. I think so too. Zhou Wanqiu nodded. Looking at Qin Yao's attitude towards Wu Yiki just now, it can be seen that the Qin family attaches great importance to character. Our Zhao family is much better than the He family in this regard. The three thought about it, and it seemed that only this reason was the most reasonable. After thinking everything through, the three members of the Zhou family became even happier. While the Zhou family was in high spirits, one person was sad and angry. It was He Zhenshen, the president of He's catering group. At this time, He Zhenshen was sitting in a bar box. Opposite him was a man with a strong figure and a pair of triangular eyes. This person was Ashi, one of the four generals under He Zhenlong of the Black Dragon Society. When Su Chen destroyed the Black Dragon Society, Ashi was the only one of the four generals who escaped. Now, He Zhenshen is looking for him. Ash, you must avenge my second brother and son. He Zhenshen's face was full of grief. He saw the bodies of his son and second brother yesterday. However, this was done by Zhang Gaitang, and he had no way to deal with it. It can only be said that his son was unlucky and was implicated by his second brother He Zhenlong. However, today Ash came to him and said that there was a new discovery. Although the surveillance data of the villa was destroyed by the people of Zhang Gaitang, but Ash found Su Chen's figure in the external road surveillance. After a day of inquiry, he finally confirmed Su Chen's identity. So, he called He Zhenshen. Ash, no matter what method you use, you must get this Su Chen. If you force the truth of the matter out, I'm willing to give you 50 million. He Zhenshen gritted his teeth. Ash's eyes lit up and said, Mr. He, I will definitely avenge the boss and your son. He Zhenshen got up and left, and Ash's eyes showed a hint of excitement. At this time, a younger brother came over and said, Brother Snake, the four colleagues of that boy are still playing in the bar. Do you want to catch them? Ashi sneered. Go. Bring them here, and force Su Chen to come over. Chapter 21 I will fight you till death. Soon, Zhang Yu, Liu Pan, Xian Yang, and Su Jiao, who were playing in the bar, were taken into the private room by several gangsters. Who are you? What do you want to do? Zhang Yu shouted. Beat them up first. Ashi waved his hand. Several gangsters took out steel bars and rushed directly towards the four people. Zhang Yu and others were shocked. Fuck. Xian Yang roared and kicked the two gangsters back. Zhang Yu and Liu Pan were overjoyed. Brother Yang, good job. Xian Yang, a fitness fanatic, is really something. Oh, there is another macho man? Ashi sneered. Old Black, you go and serve him. At this time, a tall and strong black-faced man rushed up. Xian Yang wanted to attack, but he was pinned to the ground by the other party in less than 10 seconds. Then, he kicked Xian Yang hard with two kicks. Ah! Xian Yang screamed, blood gushing out of his mouth and nose. Other gangsters also beat Zhang Yu and others. At this time, Ashi said slowly, use their cell phones to call Su Chen and ask him to come over. At the Zhao family party, Su Chen's phone suddenly rang. Looking down, it was Zhang Yu's phone. When it was connected, a strange voice came. Hey, Su Chen, do you want your friend to live? Come to the Nverhang box of Xian Ho bar within half an hour. Boom. Su Chen's murderer saw a burst out. Su Chen's abnormality immediately attracted the attention of Qin Yao and Qin Wentian. Benefactor, what's wrong? Qin Yao spoke at the first time. Su Chen said, I have something urgent and need to leave. Qin Yao asked, do you need my help? I'll drive you? Su Chen thought about it and finally nodded. Although his own speed was faster than Qin Yao's, he was not familiar with the road, and it was really difficult to find the bar. Qin Yao led Su Chen to the garage and drove away directly in the Ferrari. The car was very fast, because Qin Yao could see that Su Chen was a little anxious. Qin Yao didn't joke with Su Chen anymore. Soon, the Ferrari drove to the Skyfire bar. Su Chen said to Qin Yao, don't go in yet, it might be dangerous. Go to the hotel across the street and get a room. Qin Yao was stunned, then blushed and said, the two of us? Is it too fast? Do you want a king-size bedroom? Here we go again. Su Chen rolled his eyes. My friend might be injured. I'll treat him there later. Oh. Qin Yao nodded quickly. I don't know if she really didn't react or was just pretending. After giving the instructions, Su Chen walked into the Skyfire bar. Finding the Verhang box, Su Chen pushed the door and walked in. This is a very large box. Su Chen looked around and saw Zhang Yu, Liu Pan, and Su Jiao, all covered in scars, gathered together. In the middle of them was Xian Yang, whose face was covered in blood. It seemed that Xian Yang took the lead in the resistance and was taught the worst. Opposite them, Ashi sat on the sofa with a big horse and a golden knife. Next to him were 8 gangsters standing on both sides. Next to Ashi, there was a black-faced man sitting. He was the old black man who had injured Xian Yang. Seeing Su Chen pushing the door in, Zhang Yu and others were excited. At this time, Xian Yang struggled to open his eyes and shouted, "Brother Chen, run. They have martial artists. Haha. You come to my place and still want to leave." Ashi sneered. Su Chen ignored Ashi at all and walked directly to Zhang Yu and others to check. Fortunately, Zhang Yu, Liu Pan and Su Jiao only had superficial injuries. Xian Yang was injured in the internal organs and a bone was broken. However, it was not a fatal injury. He helped Xian Yang with simple treatment. Then, Su Chen asked them to go out first and wait at the door. He was afraid that it would be too bloody and would scare them. Zhang Yu and Liu Pan supported Xian Yang and walked out. Ashi did not stop him. What he wanted was Su Chen to come. Since Su Chen came, it didn't matter to Zhang Yu and others. After Su Jiao went out, the gangsters went forward to close the door. Su Chen turned around and looked at Ashi and the others coldly. "Tell me, who did it?" Ashi and the others were stunned at first and then burst into laughter. "Ha ha ha. Boy, are you crazy?" Ashi laughed wildly. A young gangster stood up, took out a butterfly knife, and flew it up and down in his hand. "I did it. I beat that woman. If Brother Snake hadn't stopped me from using the knife, I would have poked a few holes in her body. What can you do?" This gangster was extremely arrogant. The next second, Su Chen moved. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of him. "You." The gangster didn't have time to move, and the butterfly knife in his hand was already in Su Chen's hand. Puff, puff, puff. The butterfly knife pierced 3 holes in the gangster's body. "This is the hole you want," Su Chen said coldly. "Ah." The gangster screamed and fell to the ground, blood soaking his body. On his face, there was no longer any arrogance just now, only pain. Ashi, who was sitting on the sofa, was immediately furious. "Dare to hurt my people in my territory, come on, kill this bastard." Then, the other 7 thugs all rushed over. Su Chen moved like a tiger into a flock of sheep. With a casual blow, one person fell down. With a casual kick, another thug flew out. In just 10 seconds, all the thugs fell to the ground and groaned in pain. At this time, Ashi couldn't sit still anymore. He stood up from the sofa. The warrior Leo Hei beside him also had a serious face. "This guy is a martial artist. Let's go together." "Go." Ashi gave an order and rushed up with Leo Hei. He and Leo Hei were both warriors, not ordinary thugs. Ashi believed that if he and Leo Hei joined forces, Su Chen would not be able to resist at all. However, imagination is full, reality is very skinny. The 2 rushed to the front and punched Su Chen respectively. Humph. Su Chen snorted coldly and made a lightning move, grabbing the fists of the 2. Without waiting for the 2 to change their moves, Su Chen kicked directly. Bang, bang. The 2 men flew backwards like cannonballs and hit the wall. Su Chen took a step forward and stepped directly on Leo Hei's chest. "You are the one who injured Xian Yang?" Su Chen said coldly. Leo Hei said stubbornly, "It was me, so what? Then go to hell." Su Chen exerted force with his feet. The next second, crack, the sound of bones breaking exploded. Leo Hei's eyes bulged out, and he vomited blood. Ashi saw this scene and his heart and gallbladder broke. It turned out that Su Chen was so terrifying. "Brother, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I won't dare to do it again." Ashi knelt on the ground and kowtowed frantically for mercy. Su Chen stepped forward, picked Ashi up and asked, "Why did you look for me?" Ashi was so scared that he almost wet his pants. He said in a trembling voice, "It was He Zhenshan. He Zhenshan asked me to investigate whether you have any relationship with the death of his son He Junying and his second brother He Zhenlang." Su Chen finally understood what was going on. Bang. He casually slapped Ashi's arm. Crack. "Ah." Ashi screamed. He felt that his arm was broken. "Broken one of your arms, it's a lesson." After saying that, Su Chen turned and left. Outside the door, Zhang Yu and others did not leave, but stared at the room nervously. Zhang Yang sat on the ground, dying. struggling, and said, "Go find someone. Save Su Chen." Before he finished speaking, the door opened. Su Chen stepped out. He glanced at the half-dead Chen Yang and smiled. "Don't save me first. Save yourself first." "Ah. Brother Chen, you came out alive." Zhang Yu was very excited. "Get lost." Su Chen cursed with a smile, carried Chen Yang on his back, walked out of the bar, and walked towards the hotel opposite. In the door to Red Box, Ashi's eyes were full of resentment. "I didn't expect this bastard to be so powerful. Killed Liu He and broke one of my arms. I will never stop fighting with you." Ashi took out his mobile phone. He hesitated for a moment and dialed a number he really didn't want to dial. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22. Are you blind? Chen Zhangyi. This is Ashi. Chen Zhangyi was very surprised to receive Ashi's call. The main figures of the Black Dragon Society were all killed by Su Chen, and only Ashi was still alive. Therefore, the remaining core territories and manpower were concentrated under Ashi's command. Although Zhang Tang took over many territories of the Black Dragon Society, it could not do anything to Ashi. After all, the price was too high. "Should I call you Boss Snake?" Chen Zhangyi smiled. "Why are you looking for me?" Ashi sneered and said, "I want to surrender to you, but you have to help me kill someone first." Chen Zhangyi was stunned, and then he was overjoyed. If Ashi came to surrender to him, then Zhang Tang would be equivalent to taking over the Black Dragon Society completely. This is very important for the promotion of Zhang Tang. "Okay, I promise you. You tell me who to kill." Chen Zhangyi asked. Ashi said coldly, "You bring your masters to my Xianhou bar, and I will take you there. Remember, you must bring masters, and you must bring more." Chen Zhangyi agreed. "Okay, I'll be there right away." Su Chen led Chen Yang, Zhang Yu and others to the hotel opposite the Skyfire bar. Qin Yao had already booked a room here. At this time, she was waiting downstairs in the hotel. She was shocked to see Su Chen coming with a few bruised people. When she saw Chen Yang on Su Chen's back, she immediately understood why Su Chen asked her to book a room. "You can't." The front desk clerk of the hotel saw Su Chen and his group. Her face tightened, and she was about to stop them. Before she could finish her words, Qin Yao opened her wallet, took out dozens of big bills, and threw them in front of her. The clerk's face immediately changed to a smile, and the words in her mouth changed too. "Do you need help?" Qin Yao said, "I need you to shut up." The clerk still had a smile on his face. "Dear. Okay, I'll shut up now." Su Chen put Chen Yang on the bed in the room. "Help me find a piece of paper and a pen," Su Chen said. Qin Yao came over as soon as possible, and Su Chen dotted on the paper and wrote a bunch of medicinal materials. "Miss Qin, I have something to trouble you," Su Chen said. Qin Yao blinked. "You say? Please call Sun Zongjing and ask him to come back to the clinic to help me boil this medicine. Xian Yang's body is not suitable for long distance movement now, so I can only trouble you to run back and forth," Su Chen said. Qin Yao smiled. "Then you have to think about how to repay me in the future." After that, he took the paper and left briskly. Watching Qin Yao leave, Su Chen smiled bitterly. Zhang Yu couldn't help but say, "Brother Chen, awesome. This girl is really on the side." Liu Pan said, "It's really big." Yeah. Zhang Yu nodded in agreement. "Bah. You stinky hooligan." Su Jiao couldn't help but spit. However, when she looked down at her little apple, she couldn't help feeling a little inferior. That woman is really big. That's enough. Even if you have a bruised face and nose, it won't stop you from being a pervert, right? Su Chen said. "Let me get rid of the swelling first." "Brother Chen, can you get rid of these marks for us?" Zhang Yu asked excitedly. Su Chen nodded. "I'm worried about what I'll have to say when I get home," Zhang Yu said thankfully. Su Chen smiled. "Don't worry, I promise to make sure you're fine." As he spoke, he took out a silver needle and acupunctured the wounds of several people and then used qi to treat them. Several people only felt a tingling and cool sensation. After a while, they found that the external injuries were gradually fading. Brother Chen, you're amazing. Brother Chen, can you make Xianyang get better soon? Su Chen shook his head and said, Xianyang's internal organs are injured, and his bones are broken. I'll give him acupuncture first, and when Miss Qin brings the medicine, he can move slightly for a while, but he needs to rest. But with me here, it won't take too long. Everyone was excited. Su Chen immediately gave Xianyang acupuncture, and then gave him qi. Soon, Xianyang's spirit recovered a lot. Although he couldn't move much, he could speak normally. Brother Chen, you are so fierce. That old black man is so powerful, but he didn't beat you? Can you teach me? Xianyang's first sentence exposed his true nature. Okay. Su Chen did not refuse. When you are completely well, I will teach you a little. I want to learn too. I want to learn too. Su Jiao and others also raised their hands quickly. Su Chen smiled. Now everyone is happy, but when they really want to learn, they run faster than each other. Because this thing is really bitter. At this moment, the front desk waitress suddenly rushed in. Did you provoke Brother Ash? You are in big trouble. Brother Ash brought hundreds of people to kill you. You guys leave quickly. Don't bring trouble to our hotel. Su Chen's eyes were stunned. This Ash actually dared to come here. You wait here, I'll go out and take a look. Su Chen said coldly, and then stepped out. Brother Chen, you have to be careful. Su Jiao and the others were frightened. The waitress complained as she led the way. What's the use of you alone? Brother Snake is the boss of the neighborhood. This time he seems to have brought people from other gangs. You'll die if you go alone. I shouldn't have let you in. Alas. How about you just run out the back door? Okay. Su Chen ignored her and walked out of the hotel. Outside the hotel, a huge crowd came from the Skyfire bar opposite. The leader was naturally Ashi, who was spared by Su Chen. Ashi saw that Su Chen dared to wait outside the hotel, and his eyes suddenly flashed with murderous light. This bastard, he's quite courageous, and he dared to come out. Ashi turned his head and looked at the people of Zhangai Hall on the side, full of confidence. This time, Chen Zhangai brought 3 tiger generals and 100 good players. With Chen Zhangai, who is also a master, Ashi is confident that he can easily take down Su Chen. Ashi and the others came closer and pointed directly at Su Chen. Boss Chen, the person I'm talking about is this bastard. Let's take him down together. Chen Zhangai was stunned when he saw Su Chen. It turned out that the person Ashi asked him to deal with was Su Chen. At this moment, Chen Zhangai was so scared that he peed a few drops. Su Chen looked at Chen Zhangai and said coldly, Mr. Chen, are you here to deal with me? Before Chen Zhangai could speak, Ashi said arrogantly, nonsense. I asked Boss Chen to come here. If I don't deal with you, do I have to deal with myself? Bastard, can't you fight? This time, I must beat the shit out of you. Before he finished speaking, Chen Zhangai kicked him from behind and knocked him to the ground. Ashi was confused. Boss Chen, are you blind? I asked you to hit the guy opposite, why did you hit me? Chen Zhangai said angrily, I hit you. You are such an ignorant person. As he spoke, Chen Zhangai stepped forward and beat Ashi until he was bruised and swollen, then ran to Su Chen. Mr. Su, please forgive me. This guy said that he offered me the remaining territory of the Black Dragon Society, so I really didn't know that he offended you. Please forgive me. Chen Zhangai's voice trembled. Ashi, lying on the ground, was confused. Chapter 23 Do you like cats or dogs? Chen Zhangai lowered his head with a respectful expression. Su Chen could destroy the Black Dragon Society, so he could naturally bring down the Zhangai Hall. Therefore, Chen Zhangai was very afraid of making Su Chen unhappy. Get rid of him. Su Chen was too lazy to bother anymore, so he left after saying a word. Hey. Okay. Chen Zhangai immediately asked his men to attack Ashi. Ashi's face was bruised and swollen, and he was terrified. Boss Chen, why? Who is this man? Tell me clearly, or I will die with my eyes open. Ashi struggled and roared. Chen Zhangai sneered. Guess who killed He Zhenlong and others from your Black Dragon Society? Hearing this, Ashi trembled all over and his eyes showed disbelief. Then, He smiled bitterly. It's not unfair for me. Archie, go. Send brother Archie to death. After the fight, quickly retreat. Chen Zhangyi said. Soon, the crowd in front of the hotel dispersed again. The waitress at the front desk stared at the scene blankly. It was not until Su Chen returned to the room that she reacted. Who is this man? The waitress swallowed hard. What happened to Su Chen was unknown to the people of the Qin family's cocktail party. Here, Sun Zongjing received a call from Qin Yao and immediately asked Su Chen Pavilion to prepare medicine. At this time, 3 people from the Zhao family came over. Drive son, where is Su Chen? Zhou Wanqiu asked. Sun Zongjing didn't know what to say, so he said vaguely, he has gone back. Zhou Wanqiu interrupted and asked, Grandpa son, how did Miss Qin know Su Chen? Sun Zongjing was stunned and remembered Su Chen's instructions. He smiled and said, I cured Miss Qin's illness and was invited to the cocktail party. I thought of bringing Su Chen here to see him. Unexpectedly, Miss Qin got along well with him. Zhou Wanqiu said, I said that Zhou Chen is an honest and decent kid, and there must be a lot of people who like him. However, Zhou Wanqiu felt strange in his heart. Although she didn't like Su Chen very much, she still felt uncomfortable when she heard a woman who was no worse than herself getting close to Su Chen. Miss Qin must have not had much contact with country people. She thinks he is stupid and straightforward, and just treats him as a novelty. Zhou Wanqiu muttered. Hearing this, Zhou Wanqiu's face darkened. Zhou Wanqiu quickly shut up. Sun Zongjing looked at Zhou Wanqiu with some surprise when he heard this. That day, at the Zhao family villa, he saw Zhou Wanqiu let Zhou Wanqiu and Su Chen get married. Now it seems that it is not so smooth. Thinking of this, Sun Zongjing regretted that he didn't have a beautiful granddaughter. Otherwise, he would have to intervene and see if he could snatch Su Chen away. Okay. 3 of you, I have something urgent to do, so I won't talk anymore. Goodbye. After speaking, Sun Zongjing got up and left. When Sun Zongjing arrived at Su Chen Pavilion, Qin Yao had already arrived. The 2 of them didn't waste any time and quickly found the medicinal materials Su Chen needed and then refined them according to the method he wrote down. While refining the medicine, Sun Zongjing was impressed by Su Chen's medical skills. He had never heard of this combination of medicinal materials in the way of refining, but the effects seemed even more extraordinary. Qin Yao followed beside him, busying around. Sun Zongjing was a little surprised. The eldest daughter of the Qin family could actually do this. Thinking of Zhou Wanqiu's attitude, Sun Zongjing suddenly felt that the plan of the old man Zhou Wanqiu might not come true. Soon, Sun Zongjing refined the medicine and handed it to Qin Yao. Miss Qin, it has been refined. You can send it over quickly. Okay. Qin Yao nodded obediently. She took the medicine and got in the car. The car window fell, revealing Qin Yao's beautiful and delicate face. Grandpa son, I'm leaving. Thank you. Then, the Ferrari roared away. This girl may really make old man Zhao's plan come to nothing. Sun Zongjing smiled. In the hotel, Qin Yao handed the medicine to Su Chen. Thank you for your hard work. Su Chen thanked. Qin Yao smiled sweetly. Su Chen began to give Xianyang a second acupuncture and then took the medicine orally and applied externally. After a while of busy work, Su Chen breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, now Xianyang can basically move. However, it is recommended that you rest here tonight, and it will be better to move tomorrow. Su Chen said. Zhang Yu said, thank you, Brother Chen. I will take care of Xianyang here. Brother Chen, you go and do your work. No. I also want Brother Chen to chat with me about martial arts. Xianyang said. Zhang Yu stepped forward and slapped Xianyang on the head. Martial arts? Martial arts? Your uncle? Do you think that others are like you, who only know martial arts and don't look for girls to play with? Xianyang then noticed that next to Su Chen, there was a big beautiful girl Qin Yao standing pretty. Oh. Xianyang responded with a guilty conscience. Su Chen wanted to say something, but Zhang Yu quickly pushed him out. Okay. Brother Chen, you have been busy for a long time. Let Miss Qin take you back quickly. Thank you, Brother Chen. Clang. The door closed. Only Su Chen and Qin Yao were left outside. Qin Yao smiled. Benefactor, your friend is still very discerning. Su Chen smiled and said, don't call me benefactor. It makes me uncomfortable. I like it. Qin Yao smiled, then turned and walked towards the Ferrari. Su Chen got in the car, and the two drove towards the Zhao family villa. In the car, Qin Yao said, now, the new factory project of Cheyenne Heo Group has been given to the Zhao family. Su Chen said, thank you. By the way, what is your relationship with Zhou Wanqiu? Qin Yao looked curious. Su Chen explained, my grandfather once saved old man Zhou Wanqiu. Now I live in the Zhao family and work in the Zhao family's company. There's nothing else. Although he and Zhou Wanqiu are husband and wife, but the marriage certificate is fake. Moreover, Zhou Wanqiu didn't let Su Chen tell anyone, so Su Chen could only explain it this way. Qin Yao said quickly, then you can just come to work in our company. Our company is much bigger than Zhao's. You can also live in our house. I guarantee it will be more comfortable than staying in Zhao's house. When I get sick again, you can still give me a massage. Qin Yao deliberately licked her lower lip while speaking. This witch. No, I'm doing okay in Zhao's house. Su Chen shook his head and refused. His grandfather's order to him was to stay with Zhou Wanqiu for a year. In any case, he had to continue without any notice from his grandfather. Hearing Su Chen's answer, Qin Yao's mouth sank and said pitifully, don't you like me? Su Chen scratched his head. I didn't say I don't like you. Qin Yao smiled immediately. Then you like me? Su Chen said unhappily. Is it interesting? Then tell me, who do you like between me and Zhou Wanqiu? Qin Yao asked. Su Chen didn't want to pay attention to her. What a messed up question. He pointed ahead and said, I'm here. Stop the car. Seeing that Su Chen ignored him, Qin Yao's eyes turned and asked, then I'll ask you one last question. After you answer me, I'll let you get off the car. You say. Su Chen looked at Qin Yao helplessly. Qin Yao asked, do you like cats or dogs? Su Chen was stunned, thought about it and said, cats. Qin Yao turned around and said softly to Su Chen, meow. Su Chen was stunned. Chapter 24 The Devil. Seeing Su Chen in a daze, Qin Yao laughed out loud. Haha, you're here. Why don't you get out of the car? Are you reluctant to leave me? Haha. Qin Yao laughed. Su Chen quickly pushed the door and got out of the car. This sister is really wild. Qin Yao drove away with a big laugh, and Su Chen returned to the Zhao family villa. Zhao Giran came up to him the first time and asked with a smile, Zhou Chen, did you have a party with friends tonight? Do you want to eat some fruit? As she spoke, Zhao Giran had already brought the fruit and milk. Su Chen felt warm in his heart. He couldn't understand why Aunt Zhao, such a gentle and virtuous woman, had such a bad temper in her daughter Zhou Wanqiu. Alas. Su Chen sighed. After eating some fruit on the first floor and chatting with Zhao Giran for a while, he went to the bedroom on the second floor. He opened the floor mat, sat cross-legged on it, and began to practice. This is Su Chen's daily compulsory course. On the other side, after the Qin family's cocktail party ended, the Zhao family went directly to the side hall. Sure enough, directly of the new factory of Qin's Cheyenne Heo Group was already waiting. You three, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Director Li came up to them directly. His respectful attitude made the three Zhao family members feel a little at a loss. Director Li is the director of the new factory of Cheyenne Heo Group. Originally, all the CEOs of catering groups should come to curry favor with him, and then try every means to get the canteen bill from him. But at this moment, the Zhao family felt that the identities of both parties seemed to have been reversed. Director Li, you are too polite. Zhao Pingjiang did not dare to be arrogant and hurried forward to greet him. The two parties were chatting enthusiastically. Director Li deliberately greeted him respectfully, and Zhao Pingjiang was also polite in various ways, and the atmosphere was quite harmonious. The cooperation between the two parties was also reached in this harmonious atmosphere. Although it is only a rough cooperation intention now, if there is no accident, they can set a time to find the company's legal department to sign a specific contract. Moreover, in this rough cooperation intention letter, the Qin family did not bully customers with its size, but instead made appropriate concessions. This letter of intent for cooperation is much better than what the Zhou family had initially imagined. The 3 members of the Zhou family were all excited. Zhou Pingjiang couldn't help but ask, "Brotherly, I want to ask, why did your factory choose our Zhao's catering group? Did someone help our Zhou family?" He felt that if he didn't ask this question, he wouldn't be able to sleep well tonight. Zhou Rongchang and Zhou Wanqiu turned their heads and stared at Director Li. They really wanted to know the answer. Director Li smiled and said, "How could anyone help you? It was your Zhou family's excellent reputation in the catering industry that helped you." Director Li's face was full of smiles, but he was also puzzled in his heart. In fact, he was also confused about choosing Zhao's catering. He received Qin Wentian's order and rushed here in a hurry. Zhou Pingjiang and Zhou Wanqiu looked at each other and could only believe this answer temporarily. Finally, the Zhou family said goodbye and left in excitement. On the way back, the Zhou family guessed again, but they didn't expect anyone to help Zhao's catering. Zhou Wanqiu could never have imagined that the person who helped the Zhou family was the country bumpkin who slept in the same room with him. Zhou Wanqiu and his friends returned home, and the villa was quiet. Because it was too late, Zhao Girang had gone to rest. The 3 of them did not make a big noise, so they dispersed. Zhou Wanqiu walked upstairs, opened the door, and turned on the light. In an instant, the room was bright. A figure sitting cross-legged appeared on the ground in the corner. Ah! Zhou Wanqiu was so scared that he almost screamed. "What are you doing?" Zhou Wanqiu was angry and annoyed. "Practice." Su Chen slowly opened his eyes and said as a matter of course. Zhou Wanqiu was so angry that she wanted to bite him, but she couldn't find a reason. "What practice? Feudal superstition." Zhou Wanqiu threw down a sentence angrily, picked up his clothes, and went to the shower room. Inexplicable. Su Chen glanced at Zhou Wanqiu's back and then continued to close his eyes. After a while, Zhou Wanqiu had washed and blow-dried and changed into her pajamas. She walked out of the shower room and saw Su Chen still sitting cross-legged on the floor. She snorted and got into bed. "Turn off the lights." There was a moment of silence. Ahem. Zhou Wanqiu coughed dryly and broke the silence. What did you do at the Qin family cocktail party today?" Su Chen's voice came from the darkness. "To broaden your horizons." Zhou Wanqiu paused. She felt a little embarrassed. Originally, Zhou Rongchang asked Su Chen to use the invitation letter to broaden his horizons, but she refused. As a result, Su Chen went to the Qin family cocktail party by himself. No matter how you look at it, it seems to be a slap in her face. Zhou Wanqiu was furious. "What did you go there to broaden your horizons? Do you know that Qin Yao is just teasing you? Do you think she will like you? She has never seen a country boy like you before, and she just thinks it's fresh. Do you think there is anything about you that she can like?" Zhou Wanqiu spoke more and more anxiously, and her voice became louder and louder. In the darkness, Su Chen was confused. "I didn't say she liked me. Why are you so excited?" Zhou Wanqiu was suddenly stunned. She felt her face burning. "Yes. Why am I so excited? Su Chen wouldn't think that I was jealous, right?" Zhou Wanqiu grabbed the corner of the quilt tightly, wishing she could take back what she had just said. "I just worry that you will be deceived. You are the grandson of my grandfather's good friend. I have the obligation to remind you." Zhou Wanqiu tried to find a reason. "Thank you for your concern." Su Chen's flat voice came. In the darkness, Zhou Wanqiu bit the quilt hard. I performed so badly this time. So embarrassing." Fortunately, the lights were not turned on, and no one could see her blushing. In the slightly awkward atmosphere, Zhou Wanqiu tossed and turned until very late before falling asleep. The next morning, during breakfast, old man Zhou Rongchang advised, "Wanqiu, you should take care of Zhou Chen more. Don't just leave him in the secretariat and ignore him. In the future, take him with you to meetings and work, and teach him more." "Okay." Zhou Wanqiu nodded indifferently. She now feels more and more that her grandfather is Su Chen's biological grandfather, and she is her goddaughter. From breakfast to driving Su Chen to the company, Zhou Wanqiu didn't talk to Su Chen again. Until getting off the car, Su Chen looked puzzled. "What's wrong with this woman again? It seems that I haven't offended her." Su Chen stopped thinking about these things and walked directly to the company. As soon as he entered the office of the secretariat, Su Chen felt that the atmosphere seemed a little wrong. Zhang Yu and others did not make a fuss, but sat honestly at their workstations. Could it be because of what happened to Xianyang last night? Su Chen thought to himself and returned to his seat. Brother Chen, you are here. Zhang Yu and others quickly surrounded him. Su Chen glanced at them and asked, you came quite early. But if you all come to work, what about Xianyang? Zhang Yu said quickly, Brother Chen, it was Xianyang who asked us to come back. He said he was almost well and didn't need to accompany us. Besides, he knew that the female devil was back today. If we didn't come to work, she would probably mess with us. Female devil? Su Chen was stunned. Chapter 25 Gao Minimum's attack. Who is the female devil? Su Chen asked. Zhang Yu looked around and whispered, we have a vice chairman of Zhao's catering group, named Gao Renhui. His sister is Gao Minimum. Gao Minimum? Su Chen had never heard of this name. Zhang Yu continued, in the past, Zhou Wanqiu was the secretary general and Gao Minimum was the deputy secretary general in our secretariat. Now, Sister Qiu has been promoted to the president of the group, and Gao Minimum has taken over as the secretary general, which is considered our direct leader. Su Chen nodded. Zhang Yu whispered, Brother Chen, you just came, so you don't know that when Sister Qiu was in our secretariat, Gao Minimum always opposed Sister Qiu. Later, the old chairman stepped down. Zhao Pingjiang was promoted from president to chairman, and the position of president was vacant. So, the two of them, with the support of the chairman and vice chairman Gao, competed for the position of president. In the end, Sister Qiu won the position of president with the Haobin Food Street project. Gao Minimum can only take over Sister Qiu's vacancy and become the secretary general of the secretariat. Zhang Yu is worthy of being the gossip king, and he explained the cause and effect in a few words. Su Chen immediately understood. This Gao Minimum is the woman who lost the power struggle with Zhou Wanqiu. Just as he was thinking, footsteps were heard. A woman of medium build appeared at the door. Her face was gloomy, her lips were thin, and she looked a little mean. Judging from her physiognomy, she was a person who was eager for quick success, mean and vengeful. This is Gao Minimum. Zhang Yu reminded in a low voice. Seeing Gao Minimum coming, the honest employees stood up quickly. One by one, they rushed to Bo and said, hello, Secretary General Gao. Gao Minimum snorted coldly and nodded. Although Zhang Yu and others were a little afraid of her, it was not to this extent. They just lowered their heads and did not speak at their workstations. Gao Minimum came in and looked around and shouted in a sharp voice, why didn't Xianyang come? Zhang Yu hurriedly said, Secretary Gao, Xianyang wanted to take a leave because he was injured. Take a leave? Humph. Gao Minimum sneered, why didn't you tell me about the leave? Deduct 3 days salary from him. Zhang Yu curled his lips and muttered, deduct it if you want. Who expects you to live on your salary? What? Zhang Yu, say it again. Gao Minimum's tone rose. Zhang Yu smiled embarrassedly and said, I said it's good to deduct it. Secretary Gao is impartial and fair. Humph. Gao Minimum snorted coldly, and his eyes continued to turn. Just in time to see Su Chen in the corner. Who are you? Gao Minimum asked. Su Chen looked up at her and said lightly, my name is Su Chen, the secretary of Mr. Zhou Wanqiu. Talk to me. You have to stand up and answer. Gao Minimum scolded. Su Chen's eyes were cold. At this moment, a cold shout came. Gao Minimum, I, Zhou Wanqiu's secretary, don't seem to be responsible for you. Everyone turned around and saw Zhou Wanqiu striding over. She was beautiful and had a strong aura, like a queen inspecting her territory. Hello, Mr. Zhao. The honest employees hurriedly greeted Zhou Wanqiu. Even Zhang Yu, Liu Pan and others did the same. At this moment, Gao Minimum seemed very embarrassed. Gao Minimum looked at Zhou Wanqiu coldly with a gloomy expression. Zhou Wanqiu, this is my secretariat. Everyone here is my subordinate. Sorry, my people only belong to me. Zhou Wanqiu retorted on the spot. Su Chen suddenly understood why Zhang Yu and other guys were so loyal to Zhou Wanqiu. This woman is really domineering and popular when she protects her shortcomings. Turning around, Zhou Wanqiu coldly ordered Su Chen, Prepare your notebook and go to the meeting with me. Facing Su Chen, Zhou Wanqiu once again showed the same stinky face as in the morning. Su Chen sighed in his heart. Okay. This is still the moody Zhou Wanqiu. Su Chen took the notes and followed Zhou Wanqiu out. Snap. Gao Minimum was so angry that she broke the pen in her hand into 2 pieces. Zhou Wanqiu. Gao Minimum gritted her teeth, then turned and walked towards the company's conference room. Today, there is a regular group meeting. Because of Zhou Rongchang's instructions this morning, Zhou Wanqiu thought of asking Su Chen to come. She doesn't care whether Su Chen can learn anything. Anyway, as long as she can give an explanation to her grandfather when she goes home. And Su Chen, it was also the first time to come into contact with such a company meeting, and he was quite curious. In the large conference room with dozens of people, Zhou Wanqiu sat in the main seat. This time, Su Chen saw another side of Zhou Wanqiu. Zhou Wanqiu was wise, decisive, and vigorous during the meeting. She gave solutions to many problems handed over by subordinate departments in a few words. She could find out the inappropriateness of the plans submitted by subordinate departments with a simple look. One by one. The meeting went very smoothly. Su Chen nodded. Zhou Wanqiu is very different at work and in life. Her business talent is not inferior to her appearance talent. God really favors some people. Su Chen thought with a smile. In the meeting, Gao Minimum's face was gloomy. Looking at Zhou Wanqiu's powerful speech, she cursed in her heart. Bitch, you are so proud now. After a while, you won't be able to laugh anymore. At the end of the meeting, Zhou Wanqiu looked around the room. Does anyone have anything else to report? At this time, Gao Minimum shouted, I have it. Zhou Wanqiu was stunned and frowned slightly. Secretary Gao, what's the matter? Gao Minimum smiled coldly and said, Boss Zhou, when you were doing the Haobin Food Street project, you borrowed money from Bincheng Bank. Now the lending department of Bincheng Bank is here to collect the debt. Shouldn't you tell us about it? Bincheng Bank is collecting the debt. Zhou Wanqiu frowned. When did this happen? How come I don't know? Gao Minimum snorted coldly. Who are you asking? Who knows? What are you busy with every day? Boss Zhou. Zhou's catering group defaulted on bank loans. If this gets out, our group's reputation will be affected. Zhou Wanqiu's eyes turned cold. It is normal for companies to borrow from banks. Even if the company is not short of funds, it will borrow from banks in order to expand its scale and seize the market. Every penny of a large group is used to continue making money. Banks are also happy to lend to high quality companies. The 2 parties will agree on a repayment date. Even if there is an unexpected delay, they can apply for an extension separately and take extra care. Zhou Wanqiu was originally prepared to repay this loan. As it happened, another project was short of funds, so Zhou Wanqiu transferred the repayment there. She had informed Bincheng Bank about this matter and said that she would apply for an extension. Why is the bank suddenly demanding the repayment now? Zhou Wanqiu looked at Gao Minimum and said coldly, where did you put the Bincheng Bank's debt collection notice? Gao Minimum smiled. What do you mean I put it somewhere? Mr. Zhou has his own secretary, Su Chen. The notices and reports to you are naturally kept with him. Su Chen was stunned. There is actually something about himself in this. However, he didn't see any notice at all. Haha. Gao Minimum narrowed her eyes. Mr. Zhou, you have to hurry up. The list of defaulters of Bincheng Bank's loans will be announced tomorrow. If you don't get it done, it will be too late. Hearing this, Zhou Wanqiu's face turned ugly. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.